Monty in the Morning, the show Phoenix Magazine readers voted #1 talk radio show in Arizona.
#1 during your morning commute.
#1 whenever news breaks during your day.
And #1 whenever and wherever you want to talk sports.
Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
Hey, yo, man, how the heck are you? It is the Monty Show. Happy Wednesday already, Jake.
Already.
Yo,
Okay.
yo. Good to see y'all. Appreciate you being here on a Wednesday. We have got a lot to get to today. Obviously, there's a lot of Utah Jazz news floating around the world of the interwebs.
The interwebs.
We'll talk about all of that coming up on the show. We've got to talk about the greatest college football coach that's ever lived.
That's a lie.
Alabama.
Roll Tide.
Nick Saban got a huge contract extension. Ya boy, Kevin Durant, your favorite player, your man crush, is back in Brooklyn.
Right.
And oh, by the way, we're giving away a trip for two to see BYU and Notre Dame in the Shamrock Series in Las Vegas. You get 2 nights at the Palms Casino Resort and Hotel. So lovely. If you've never stayed at the Palms, you're going to love every minute of it. We're giving you 2 tickets to the game and a $250 gas card to get you there. And all you have to do is go to any of the 5 Utah locations for barbecue pit stop. Logan, Layton, Lehigh, St. George, and of course our good friends in Murray. There's a box on the counter. It's got our beautiful faces on it. You fill out the slip. You drop the slip in the box. And you are entered to win. We will announce that winner at our live show September 17th at the Barbecue Pit Stop in Lehigh. We'll do our Football Saturday show live that afternoon leading up to BYU and Oregon live in Eugene at Autzen Stadium. It is going to be an amazing day. And then at halftime, we're going to draw the winner. We'll all be eating wings. There will be no flats, only drums.
Wow. I'll see about that.
We'll have some pizza, some wings. It's going to be an amazing day at Barbecue Pit Stop in Lehigh on September 17th as we announce the winner. But without further ado, let's talk some NBA rumors. Let's talk Utah Jazz basketball because it seems like every day produces a new rumor about Donovan Mitchell. And is he going to be traded? Where's he going to be traded to? Who's coming back in return? And Jake, when you look at this situation and you hear all of these rumors, what goes through your mind when you hear that the Lakers are interested in Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, what goes through my mind is that it's slow right now. You know, the sports cycle is really slow. I think that there's I know for a fact there's a thirst for news. There's a thirst for the next thing that's happening in this update. If you didn't hear that, you know, Kevin Durant is going to stay in Brooklyn. They're going to play the season out there. And then they're going to kind of go from there. That was a big update yesterday, and one we've been waiting for, and I think the league has been waiting for, and frankly, I think the fan base was waiting for of the NBA, and I think that, you know, I look around Twitter and I hear, you know, guys in Phoenix, you know, guys in New York, guys in Los Angeles, you know, tweeting about that the Lakers are interested in Donovan Mitchell. That's neat. I'm interested in having an unlimited supply of wings to eat every day, right? But that's not news. It's just not. I mean, the Lakers are not in a position to go and make a Knicks type offer, and they would be only able to participate as maybe a third team. But again, then you look at the Westbrook contract situation, and it doesn't make sense as to why the Jazz would be interested in working with the Lakers as a third team. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not ruling it out, but my point just is that I think it's slow right now. I think people are desperate for NBA news, and they want that next big trade to happen. They want, you know, they want that, like, you know, that feeling when, like, go back to the Rudy Gobert trade. When Rudy Gobert was traded, we jumped on the show. I think it was like 2:30 in the afternoon, maybe 3 o'clock. And the world was on fire. The NBA world was on fire. Everyone was about it.
Yeah.
And that's what I think, that type of feeling and that type of momentum is what we just simply haven't had this offseason. Ever since that Rudy Gobert trade, it feels like the league has just come to a pause. And with all due respect to DeJounte Murray,
with all due respect,
this is why DeJounte Murray just wasn't some splash trade. I think that just didn't do it for people. So yeah, that's what I think about. I think that people are just hungry right now.
Yeah, and I think that makes a lot of sense. But the issue is when you have a hack in a different market that's like, oh, the Lakers are interested in Donovan Mitchell. Again, I'm interested in losing 100 pounds. Is that going to happen? Probably not.
Right.
Are the Lakers trading for Donovan Mitchell? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what you see everybody trying to get their pound of flesh out of these rumors. Of course, the Lakers are interested in Donovan Mitchell. Who would be surprised by that? But the thing that I don't understand about Jazz fans are you hear, oh, the Lakers are interested in Donovan Mitchell. He's going to the Lakers. It's happening. And it's like this is a guy who routinely makes up rumors to get attention in another market. He's notorious for it. And you guys are like, oh, it's happening. Donovan Mitchell's not getting traded straight up to the Lakers. Are the Lakers a team that could be involved as a third? Potentially, sure they could. But are the Lakers trading like this idiot was saying Donovan Mitchell for Russell Westbrook and 2 unprotected first-round picks?
No.
Does that really seem like a trade that Danny Ainge is going to make? It does not. And then the Cleveland Cavalier rumor, the Cavs and Jazz are talking about Colin Sexton is what most people believe is happening, right? Like it makes no sense. The bottom line is very simple with Donovan Mitchell. There's one team who can offer Danny Ainge the kind of package he's looking for. It's the New York Knicks. It is really that simple. And I think the thing that I would say to Jazz fans is don't bite the hook on every single rumor. Don't do that. Like somebody was DMing me yesterday, hey, are we really getting Paul George and John Wall for Donovan Mitchell? Yes, that's happening.
How is that even possible?
Paul George and John Wall. The Clippers are sending Paul George and John Wall to the Jazz for Donovan Mitchell. And, well, we're also sending the Jazz are also sending the video coordinator, the team video. And one of their, like our third best beer vendor is being traded to the Clippers.
Right.
Like, do you understand how ridiculous these rumors are? And people just retweet and, come on, stop. Like, be better than this.
Yeah, and I think we see that in the media all the time, and I legit think that there's actually like good conversations to be had. That to me, that's always been the shame in it when we get these people who just make things up or like saying like if you remember the Rudy Gobert rumor of like him or me, right? Donovan or me, and you guys have to choose. Rudy Gobert never said that, but what happened? That guy tweeted it, and everybody ran with it, right? And that's what happens in the media cycle. So that's why I say if you're a Jazz fan, you just have to really pay attention to who the information you digest, how much credence you put into it. And I'm certainly not sitting here saying that we're, better than anybody or we're the most right all the time, but I think our track record speaks for itself, I think we've been really reliable, and I think that it's just funny to watch, like when Woj or Windhorse or whoever in the media says something, people just run with it forever, and it's just not true. It's not news. It's not news. So I don't know, man. That's why I say, like, when people talk about, well, Donovan hasn't said anything, that must be a bad sign. Why do you think he hasn't said anything? Because it doesn't behoove him, because people just make stuff up all the time. So that's the trouble in it. Now, as far as actual news and as far as actual basketball stuff, this situation with the Nets to me is still super dynamic and super fluid. They come out yesterday and they say, hey, we had a meeting with KD. Everything's good. He's going to play here this year. And they're trying to send the message that he's going to play there for a minute, like a couple of seasons. But I think it's year to year, in my opinion. And I also think that Kevin Durant, certainly must have realized that, hey, this isn't going anywhere fast.
Right.
This isn't going anywhere, quickly. And I need to make the best of this situation as it's currently constituted, because there's not, like, when I look at the opportunities for Kevin Durant, the issue is the Nets actually have a really good team around him. Like, I don't think anyone doubts that.
Well, I think the thing that stands out to me about Kevin Durant is there was clearly a moment of clarity with Kevin Durant. I mean, it's very difficult to demand a trade and then, for the Nets to go and execute that and just think they're going to trade you just to trade you. And I think Kevin Durant came to the realization that, one, he was never going to end up in a situation where he was in a better situation than he has in Brooklyn, because that was not going to happen. Because as we've talked about, very much like Donovan Mitchell, he's not leaving Utah to go to a better situation with the Knicks. That's just not happening.
Right.
The Jazz are in a better situation for Donovan Mitchell. He's the number one on that team. He's the star on that team. That's his locker room. Those are his teammates. If when you go to a new situation, you have to reacclimate. You have to figure out where you stand. You have to figure out where you fit in. Who's the leader in that locker room? Like, all that stuff is uncomfortable. On top of that, you look at a guy like Kevin Durant, and you're talking about trading this guy to places like Phoenix. Is Kevin Durant really the thing that Phoenix needs to get over the top? Well, they probably need Chris Paul to stay healthy.
Yeah.
If you look at all of the places that you've heard about with Kevin Durant, there was not a better situation than Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Joe Harris, Claxton,
Seth Curry.
Patty Mills, Seth Curry. Like, you have a really talented roster in Brooklyn. And I think when you sit down in a room with guys like Steve Nash and Sean Marks, Joe Tsai and his wife, the owners of the Nets, Kevin Durant and his agent, you quickly start to realize that you can actually have a productive conversation and you can figure out a path forward. And I think when you look at where the Nets are and you look at what Sean Marks said yesterday, what he said was, we're focused on basketball and our partnership is going to continue. And Jake, I think for your guy, that's the exact right move for him to make.
Yeah, and look, I thought that I thought that the Nets did well here. I think they've absolutely held their water. Admittedly, Joe Tsai was not about to compromise when Kevin Durant said, hey, you got to choose me or you got to choose them. You notice that Joe Tsai came right out and made a statement and said, hey, we're going to stick with our people. I'm going to stick with the front office that I have in place because I believe in these guys. And so by doing that, you showed Kevin Durant your commitment to your people and your team and your infrastructure. And I think that's also important. And I think that sent a clear message to Kevin Durant that the Nets were not going to be bullied by the situation. They were not ever saying to themselves, well, it's Kevin Durant, so we just got to do whatever he wants. Because the problem is, we already did whatever you wanted to do, Kevin, and you blew this situation up, or at least tried to, and now we've had to come in behind you and clean the whole thing up. And so, yeah, I am a Kevin Durant guy, and I do think, generally speaking, the basketball world really enjoys watching Kevin Durant put the ball in the hole. The problem is that this whole situation has kind of wrecked his reputation. And so I do wonder, if you're Kevin Durant, is there not a lot of credence to saying, hey, you know what? I need to stop complaining. I need to stop trying to team hop. I need to stop trying to run from situations. And instead, I need to embrace my role as Kevin Durant, and I need to carry this team as far as possible. And whatever happens, happens. Because I still don't think that you can guarantee a championship on any team. Right? I mean, look at the LeBron Miami Heat team.
But are you really trying to guarantee a championship?
Well, that's what I think Kevin Durant's trying to do. Kevin Durant wants to be in a situation where the odds are extremely in his favor that he's going to win a championship.
That could absolutely be.
Right? Like, that's what he, to me, was looking for when he went to Brooklyn, which was, hey, I'm going to team up with Kyrie. We're going to put some guys around us, and we're going to go championship hunting. But the problem is the NBA is so good that's not how it works. You're one injury away on basically every team from not being a championship caliber team.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Kevin Durant went through.
But listen, I think when you look at where we are as we talk the latest NBA rumors, including Donovan Mitchell and Kevin Durant here on the Monty Show, presented by Devery Davis at Academy Mortgage, I think it's one of these situations where for Kevin Durant, it's now or never. You have to, I think you hit the reset button on Kevin Durant. You have to reestablish yourself as one of the baddest dudes in the NBA. And I think for Donovan Mitchell, he has to do the same thing. And I think going back to that Jazz situation, I don't think it's dissimilar to Kevin Durant, because I still maintain 65-35, the Utah Jazz bring Donovan Mitchell to training camp. And I think if you bring Donovan Mitchell to camp, he's got to prove that he's that dude. He's got to prove that he is a superstar caliber NBA player.
Yeah. He's
got to prove that he can carry a team. He's got to prove that he can score 30 points a night because that's what it's going to take to carry the Jazz.
Cold-blooded, clean, methodical, and thorough.
I think it's that simple, and I think that Danny Ainge is dominating the NBA with this situation, and I think Don is well aware of that. I think that Donovan Mitchell knows there's only one place he's getting traded to, no matter what the hacks in Phoenix say, and it's the New York Knicks. There's nothing that the Lakers can do. Nothing they can do 1v1 to land Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
They don't have draft compensation. They don't have young talent to trade. They don't have anything of substance that trumps what the Knicks can offer. And I just go back, and this is the risk that you took. If you're Leon Rose, this right here is the risk that you took.
Facts.
When you waited. When you didn't make a deal with the Jazz, you allowed Danny Ainge to leak rumors to the media that says the Cleveland Cavaliers are interested. You allow the hacks in Phoenix to say the Lakers are interested. You allow, people saying, oh, Charlotte Hornets are trading for Donovan Mitchell.
Ridiculous, dude.
You allow all of this noise to happen, and what does that mean for Leon Rose and the Knicks? The price just went up. That's what this means. It creates a sense of urgency, and I'd remind you, this is the 24th of August today. Mm-hmm. It's Wednesday, August 24th. You're out of time. Patrick Beverley can be traded next week, and I think the Jazz are going to move him, and I think the Jazz would very much like to move him along with Donovan Mitchell to the Knicks. And it's simply a matter of what the Knicks are willing to pay. Because, again, I will reiterate that I was told yesterday, no, the Lakers are not in a situation to trade for Donovan Mitchell. That's one of the most ridiculous things that, and I talked to a pretty good number of NBA guys.
Right.
I had people laughing at that yesterday. It's one team. It's the Knicks. The Knicks have what it takes to get that done. It's probably a 3-team deal. Because, again, from what I understand, the Knicks are not willing to trade Quentin Grimes.
Yeah.
They're going to hang on to him. It is that simple. And if you're hanging on to Quentin Grimes, I think it's going to be very difficult to make that trade directly between the Jazz and the Knicks.
Yeah.
Because I think Danny wants Quentin Grimes. I think Danny wants 4 unprotected first-round picks. And I don't think the Knicks have an appetite to do that. And, frankly, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I don't blame them. I totally understand that. Obi Toppin and Evan Fournier are not getting this deal done. There is very little value in that return. When it's 2 unprotected picks and Evan Fournier, there's no value in that.
Yeah.
You add Obi Toppin, there's no value in that. You add Quentin Grimes and Emmanuel Quickley, now we can make a deal. It really is as simple as what is Leon Rose's appetite to give up talent.
Yeah, and I think when you look at timelines and you look at where we're at in this process, September's the last full month you have before you start playing games. Like, just to put this into perspective, October 2nd is your first preseason game, and you're going to Toronto to play that game. So September really is, and specifically the first 2 weeks of September really is the window for all these moves to go down, not only for the Utah Jazz, but in the league. I mean, think about it. You've got to solidify your roster heading into the season. So that's why I say, what's today? Oh, it's Kobe Day. It's 8/24, right? It's Kobe Day. So that's why I say, it's time. It's just time to get going. That's why I think we got the Kevin Durant news when we did. That's why I think we're going to get a flurry of trades that go down, as you've been saying, in the first week of September or so. That's why I think all this stuff, it just has set up for a long summer, because this is the first real offseason teams have had in a couple of seasons because of the time we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube. I think that there's a lot happening in the league, specifically in Lakerland, and the reason that matters is because the Lakers are usually the straw that stirs the offseason trade drink, if you will. So I just think there's this perfect storm of situations and narratives going around that make it so there's not a lot of moves happening. Yet here we are on, August 24th, and it's time for things to start happening. So we'll see what happens. But I completely agree. You get a lot of people like hacks in Phoenix or people in New York or whatever just saying random stuff because it's slow. And I just hope that Utah Jazz fans kind of keep that in mind, because on our show, I can speak for us. We're not looking to just like make stuff up or make random rumors up. I mean, as you can see, like if you look at the videos and the topics we select to talk about, it's usually just talking about what's going on or what needs to go on when the time comes, like the Patrick Beverleys or whatever the case may be. So I think that happens all the time, not only in the sports world, but in the news world too.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that's so interesting is that Donovan Mitchell and Danny Ainge are dominating the NBA. I mean, it's fascinating to me. Donovan Mitchell has been a far bigger story than Kevin Durant's been. I think the rumors of Donovan Mitchell trades dominated the Kevin Durant back to Brooklyn news yesterday. I think Donovan Mitchell was a far bigger story around the NBA, which is surprising to me. It really is surprising to me that Donovan Mitchell has that much sway. All right, let's get your comments in here. Kurt Myers, first one in. He says, good morning. Danny has 2 offers for Don that he likes. Now what? I don't know that he has 2 offers he likes.
Perfect example. That's a perfect example. Danny Ainge has 2 offers from teams that he, quote, likes. Okay, what does that mean? Does that, okay, so obviously one of those is the Knicks, and then what? There's another team? What if it's the Knicks head up, and then what if it's the Knicks in a 3-team deal?
I think Danny Ainge does not have a deal from the Knicks he likes. I'll be honest with you. I haven't heard that once. I don't think Danny Ainge has multiple deals he likes, because I got to be honest with you. If he did, this deal would be done, period. And I think that Danny Ainge, if he had, and he's asking for 6 first-round picks, I think he would settle for 4. If he had 4 first-round picks, this deal would be done. And I don't care if it's your mom or the Knicks. You offer Danny Ainge 4 unprotected first-round picks, you can have Donovan Mitchell.
Yes.
That's the foundation for a deal. It's not in question like this R.J. Barrett discussion. I think this is a fascinating discussion. R.J. Barrett, the Jazz, I think, would be willing to take R.J. Barrett if they got a higher level of draft pick compensation. I think the Jazz do not want to extend R.J. Barrett. That puts them right back in the same situation that they are in now. And if you do some thinking here, and if you look at the writing on the wall, why would Danny Ainge, ask yourself this logical question? Danny Ainge has a guy that in Donovan Mitchell that's on a rookie extension right now. Right now. If you're Danny Ainge, why are you going to trade Donovan Mitchell for a guy that you're going to have to sign to a rookie extension, who's probably going to get paid more than Donovan Mitchell, depending on what happens with the cap and the luxury tax? You're going to pay R.J. Barrett more than you're paying Donovan Mitchell, and Donovan Mitchell's a better player?
Yeah.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Who does that?
So this idea that you would trade 1 unprotected pick if you added R.J. Barrett, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
R.J. Barrett doesn't project to be a better player. I asked this question point blank the other day. Does R.J. Barrett project to be on par or better than Donovan Mitchell? And at no point does he project to be a better player than Donovan Mitchell.
Right.
So paying him more money, extending him on his rookie deal doesn't make financial sense.
Hell no.
Let's even pretend that the Jazz are desperate to trade Donovan Mitchell, as Knicks media is saying. And that, the Hacks in Phoenix are saying that the Jazz are in full tank mode.
Right.
So let me get this right. You're in full tank mode. You're going to trade a rookie max extension contract for the rights to a player that right now is going to be eligible for a rookie max extension that will likely be more than the contract you're trading away. And you're telling me that makes sense? That makes no sense at all financially. Even if you're in full tank mode, it makes less sense than it does if you're in retool mode.
Yeah.
And if you trade Donovan Mitchell, it's a full rebuild. Are you fully rebuilding around a guy in R.J. Barrett who you know who he is? He's not a guy that you build around. There's nobody in this league that thinks R.J. Barrett's the best player on a championship team. These rumors make no sense.
Yeah.
So when you hear, Danny has 2 offers he likes, I don't believe he has 2 offers he likes.
And I think your point about the full rebuild thing, I think in sports we love to be like, oh, they're burning it down. They're going to suck and be terrible. Like, I think we, like as fans, we like to kind of hop on that, death knell of a narrative. Like, hey, they're going to be awful. It's the Utah Jazz. They're burning it down. They brought in Danny Ainge. Like, they're going to suck. Like, I think that's what happens in sports a lot. And specifically with the Jazz for whatever reason. And I'm telling you, their behavior does not signal a full rebuild. It doesn't. Everyone wants to say, oh, well, they traded Rudy Gobert. They're rebuilding. No, they're not. That does not signal. If you look at the numbers, and we go back and listen to prior shows, we ain't got time for it today. Go look at the numbers. Go look at why they had to trade Rudy. There is a specific reason why, and it just makes perfect sense. And now you've got flexibility. They're not rebuilding at all, and anyone who tells you they are has no idea what they're talking about. It just is not what they're doing.
Well, and the idea that, Danny Ainge is trying to get the number 1 pick.
Like, what?
I don't think that there's nothing that they've done to this point that says that.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Spencer Morgan says there's a big difference between full tank mode, pinning your hopes on a high draft pick, and rebuild mode. They're not necessarily the same thing. I don't think they're the same thing. Prismac from Poland says the Monty Show 758 title was "The Deal Is Done." It's not done till now, a few weeks later. Did you watch that show? Did you go back and click on that thumbnail? That's not what the thumbnails. That's
see, this is a business.
This is
getting,
how it
by
works.
the way, subscribe to the channel. I think we have like 8 subs to 7,000 or whatever it is. So thanks. Go ahead and subscribe, please. Need you.
Mark Barrington says Knicks offering 3 to 4 picks, but can probably guarantee they'd include picks from Detroit, Washington, Milwaukee, which means not huge value. I don't even think they're offering 3 to 4 picks. I think they are offering their own 2 unprotected picks. That's it. Because the Knicks only own 2 picks that are first round unprotected. That's what they're trying to get to the Jazz for Donovan Mitchell. And if you're Danny Ainge, that's not enough. That's not enough. And that's why there's a third team. They're trying to find a third team to include in this. And again, I just go back on Monday. If you go back and watch the show on Monday, that's what we said. I think that's where Cleveland, I think that's where the Lakers, I think that's where Charlotte come in. I don't believe that Donovan Mitchell will play for anybody but the Jazz or the Knicks this coming season.
Yeah,
that's it. Those are the 2 teams he'll play for, in my opinion. Based on what I've been told, he's going to be a Jazz man or he'll be a New York Knick. It is that simple, and it is going to simply be a matter of who blinks. Are the Knicks willing to give up more, or is Danny willing to take less? Because that's how this deal gets done.
Well, and I think we know the answer to that. I think that Danny Ainge is not willing to take less. I mean, if he was willing to take less, this deal would have been done 3 weeks ago.
I would agree with that.
You know what I mean? So I think that, to expect Danny Ainge to somehow like reverse course here or somehow to change his behavior just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And that's the other thing too, when I look at all these fictional narratives that are out there, like Danny Ainge is not desperate to trade Donovan Mitchell. And that's what I think you have to remember in these conversations. Like your point about, hey, the Knicks are only offering 2 unprotected first round picks, and that's not enough. Well, that makes perfect sense because the deal isn't done, which is why you would need the third team. And that's what I'm saying. To expect Danny to just change course here and somehow open the conversation up to 2, unprotected picks being worth it or enough is just not realistic.
No.
That doesn't make any sense. And that's what I'm saying. The Kevin Durant situation, I think, puts people in a headspace where they're like, oh, well, the Donovan Mitchell situation is exactly the same. Right? They're trying to rebuild and they want to trade Donovan Mitchell. So, it's exactly the same. They have to move him. Just like before yesterday, they had to move Kevin Durant. And it's not true. To me, they have always been 2 very different situations because KD asked for a trade. And Donovan hasn't asked or said anything this offseason. He's just simply been working out, doing what NBA players do. And that's what I think you have to understand.
Yeah.
Danny Ainge and Donovan Mitchell, and frankly, I'd say Ryan Smith as well, are very close. Donovan Mitchell's not in a bad place with the organization.
Yeah, and I think we take this stuff very personally, and I can only continue to say I just don't believe that Danny Ainge is willing to build around RJ Barrett. This has been one of the most talked about guys in conversations I've had with NBA sources that, like the guys I talked to at the Jazz have straight up told me that it's a very difficult pill to swallow when you look at who RJ Barrett is as a player. He's a very young player. Yes, he averaged 20 points, but stylistically, he's not built to be a cornerstone player. Donovan Mitchell is a cornerstone player. Donovan Mitchell's a guy who could likely be your best player on a championship team. You're going to need shooters around him. There is no question about that because he gets himself into the paint quite a bit. You're going to need guys that until he shows he's a much more willing, better defender, you're going to need guys that are better willing defenders than Donovan Mitchell on your team. But there's no doubt that Donovan could be your best offensive player. That is not even in question. And he projects to be a guy who's got the talent and capability to score 30 points a game.
Right.
There is nothing that you've seen from RJ Barrett that tells you he can be that kind of player. And I think that's why and Danny's not the only executive, by the way. I've been told that there are other executives around the league who don't want to extend RJ Barrett.
Yeah. And
I think, by the way, I actually think Tom Thibodeau likes RJ Barrett quite a bit. I believe that the Knicks they're not hell-bent on trading RJ Barrett. I actually think they'd like to pair RJ and Donovan Mitchell. I just don't know that this deal 1v1 has enough value in it if you don't include good young players. And what RJ Barrett gives the Jazz, and the reason I think so many people talk about this, what RJ Barrett brings the Jazz is he brings a guy who can put the ball in the hole. And if you trade Donovan Mitchell, it doesn't matter who you get in return. If it's not RJ Barrett, you don't have somebody that's going to score you 20 points a game.
Yeah.
You just don't. Because Mike Conley and Bojan Bogdanovic are not going to be on this roster. And I think it's just simply a situation where RJ Barrett's good. He's just not great. And he does not project to be elite. And I know that frustrates Knicks fans, and I know Knicks fans want to believe that RJ Barrett is this incredible talent. He's a very talented player. He just, under no circumstance and by no measure, projects to be a franchise-level NBA player.
Yeah, and by the way, I'd also point out Danny Ainge is probably intimately familiar with RJ Barrett's game, having been an East Coast executive for a while and, just being at games and stuff. He knows RJ Barrett. So I just don't think it just shouldn't be taken as some surprise that they don't want to extend RJ Barrett. It's just common sense.
No, I would agree with that. And I think one of the things that's so interesting is that you have the complexities of this trade. Mm-hmm. And when you look at where the Knicks are and where the Jazz are, and you look at their future unprotected first-round picks, they have 23, they have 24, and I think they have 25. The issue is how many of your own first-round picks can you trade? Because you can't trade your own pick multiple year after multiple year.
Right.
You're not allowed to do that. So it just, you look at these picks from Dallas, Detroit, Washington, Miami that the Knicks own, there's not a lot of value in those picks. There's frankly not a lot of value in the Knicks' first-round pick in 2025. Because you would think the Knicks, if they continue on this trajectory, right, the Knicks are going to be a better team.
Yeah.
So how much value are in those picks? There's not a lot of value in those picks. Let's see. Parrish Duggar gives us a $2 tip. It says they also have Dallas's first 2023, which will happen. Well, that's great, but if Dallas continues to build and grow, is Dallas first round pick really of value to you?
Yeah.
At this point, I think you'd have to say no.
And I also look, dude, it's Donovan Mitchell in the Utah Jazz. Like, you have to understand, Donovan Mitchell is the organization. Donovan Mitchell is their guy. Like, it's not it's different in Los Angeles where you've got, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, where you've got LeBron and AD and Russ. Like, you have multiple tiered talent on your roster.
That do different things.
Yeah.
To create that, like, if you look at LeBron and AD, the reason that people think that's so successful, whether it is or not, on paper, it's because LeBron James and Anthony Davis are two singularly elite players who do completely different things, and their games mesh well together. It's Kyrie and KD.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys play different styles of game. They're built totally different. You look at the teams. You look at Boston. Tatum and Jaylen Brown play similar but very different games. You can look at Steph, Clay, and Dre. Steph Curry is a dynamic player who has a bunch of role players around him, and it won them a championship.
Yeah.
I just think when you look at Donovan Mitchell and you look at what this Jazz roster has, I think there's a lot of potential here. If they bring him back to training camp and you bring this group back, the only thing they lack is a true big.
Yeah.
Azubuike, in most people's opinion, is a second or third center on your bench. That's it. So I think the Jazz, listen, if they come back intact, this Jazz team's going to score 110 points a game. I mean, they have significant offensive ability.
Right.
I just don't think that they can stop anybody the way they're currently constructed. So that's why I think you're not going to see the Utah Jazz bring back the bulk of these guys. So that'll be interesting. Let's run through some of your comments. I see a lot of you are here. Thanks for being here this morning. If you're here right now, please give us a thumbs up and a like. It really helps the channel grow. I can only say so many times thank you, because we are right on the edge of 7,000 subscribers. We're 7 subscribers away from 7,000. And that's remarkable, considering that a year ago we were at like 500 subscribers. That you guys have really gravitated to the channel, subscribed, followed what we do content-wise. It's incredibly humbling. Incredibly humbling. So thank you for that. Give us a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe to the show. JJ says, how much do Jazz fans like RJ Barrett? I don't know. That's an interesting question.
I don't think Jazz fans know RJ's game too well. I think that RJ, again, you have to remember, and I'm not even trying to hate here. This is just a reality of the situation for Jazz fans. You don't get every Jazz fan being able to watch games, so they only get to watch some of them. So the odds of them having seen a lot of RJ Barrett are not good. For a Jazz fan to have seen RJ Barrett, they would have had to watch, like the Knicks on a national broadcast, or like you know what I mean? Like, devoted NBA fans know RJ Barrett, know his game. Like, they know RJ Barrett. Obviously, RJ's a name. But I think when we talk about how do Jazz fans feel about it, I think Jazz fans simply don't know RJ. They know he's a Knick, and, that he's a player that might be traded. So that's where I think Jazz fans are at with RJ Barrett.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think one of the things that also stands out is RJ's not a dynamic personality on the floor. He's a guy that is very low-key.
Yeah.
He's not going to be your LeBrons. He's not going to be even your Donovan Mitchells. He's not going to be that big presence on the floor, which I think is part of the reason a lot of people doubt whether he can be a franchise player.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. That's an interesting point. I don't know that Jazz fans are intimately familiar.
Yeah.
With
because
what
RJ's not a Kevin Durant, right? Like, he's not. And what I mean by that is he doesn't have that profile where like anybody and their sister knows who Kevin Durant is, or knows who LeBron or Steph is. RJ and and many other players obviously are just not on that level. So that's why I say I think that for your casual, again, as I always describe it, your 9-to-5er who pops the Jazz on in the background when he or she is making dinner for the family, that kind of Jazz fan, I don't think knows who the hell Quentin Grimes is, or who the hell RJ Barrett is, or
Right,
Obi Toppin. Like, they don't know these guys, and that's why I say, like, dude, they don't even know. Let me say this: Jazz fans didn't even know who Jared Vanderbilt and Malik Beasley were. So that's why I say it's one of these situations where Donovan Mitchell's the face of the franchise. Jordan Clarkson is a sweetheart around here, and Bojan Bogdanovic and Mike Conley were also well liked. So those guys are known to Jazz fans. Anyone else, I just don't think is really well known to Jazz fans right now.
Little breaking news for you this morning. Pro Football Hall of Famer and, really Kansas City Chief legend, Len Dawson passed away this morning at the age of 87. And I think Lenny's a guy that most people know more for his TV work, at least in our younger generations here. But Len Dawson was a hell of a quarterback and a guy that I think has a huge media personality in the NFL. So NFL Hall of Famer, or Pro Football Hall of Famer, excuse me, an NFL legend, Len Dawson passed away this morning at the age of 87. And I think, I not to be a buzzkill with that news, but I bring that up because he's just he was such an incredible performer. The image most people probably remember Len Dawson by, and you probably don't even know who Len Dawson is.
Nope.
Have you ever heard of him?
Never heard of Len Dawson.
Really?
Nope.
Man, and
Nope.
I know you're only 16.
Yeah.
But.
And I like flats.
And you like flats instead of drums.
Right.
But Len Dawson was an amazing, best known for the Kansas City Chiefs, but I think more known for Inside the NFL on HBO, more known as a TV personality, a play-by-play guy. Like Lenny was incredible. And I think most people know Len Dawson because Lenny was a guy that on the sidelines was smoking cigarettes. He was a guy that played back in the 60s. He was fine to smoke cigarettes on the sideline. And obviously he's a guy, Len Dawson, that and I know nothing happened before 1993 when you were born.
It didn't.
But this is a guy that was a Super Bowl champion, a Super Bowl MVP. This is a guy that was 49 years ago. Thank you very much. Almost 50 years ago, the NFL Man of the Year, Len Dawson.
Mm-hmm.
MVP, like anything you want, Len Dawson achieved it in his career. So sad news this morning out of the National Football League. Len Dawson, the Pro Football Hall of Famer and Kansas City Chief Super Bowl champion, passed away at the age of 87. If you're just tuning in this morning, we are talking about the biggest news in the NBA, the National Basketball Association. Obviously, Kevin Durant returning to Brooklyn is a huge story, and one of the conversations we're having this morning is, can Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and that cast of characters that they've done such a good job of assembling in Brooklyn, including, by the way, Royce O'Neal, can that group of guys win a championship? Bringing that back together with Sean Marks and Steve Nash, who that Kevin Durant went to the owner, Joe Tsai of the Brooklyn Nets, and said, hey, you pick me or you pick, Nash and Marks. Well, he picked Nash and Marks, and now Kevin Durant has picked the Brooklyn Nets, and they are coming back together this year. Do you think Kevin Durant can win a championship there?
Yeah, I think Kevin Durant can win a championship there. I think the biggest thing is that he's got to stay healthy, or their team needs to stay healthy, rather. I think that, this stuff about Kyrie Irving missing a ton of games and Ben Simmons' mental health and and just these guys missing a ton of time can't keep happening. I'll just keep saying it. Even if you're Kevin Durant, being the mainstay on your team and not having any help is not a recipe to win a championship. And that's why I say, if they can put this together and those three guys, Ben Simmons, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant, can be healthy most of the year and can really play together, then yeah, I think there's no reason why they can't go and chase a championship. But we've been waiting for this Brooklyn Nets team, even back to the James Harden days on the Nets. Like, we've been waiting for this team to kind of come together and really start playing that team brand of basketball, and it just hasn't happened, at all. So that's why I say, is Kyrie gonna not feed himself again? Is Kyrie gonna miss a bunch of time? Is he gonna be Mr. Selfish this year again? Like you know what I mean? And everyone thinks that that's not gonna happen because he's in a contract year, and that may be true, but there's just a big part of me that does not believe or take Kyrie Irving at his word. I take Kyrie Irving at his behavior, which is, hey, I'm going to starve myself because of my religious beliefs, which I understand. I'm not hating on that, but the fact is, you're an NBA basketball player and business is business. So, hey, great, go and do that, but you need to figure out a way to be 100% for the playoffs. It's just that simple. And so that's why I say, yes, you can win a championship, but you're heavily relying on those two guys to perform.
Yep, so Kevin Durant is back in Brooklyn, and then one of the biggest stories, I think, yesterday was, allegedly, the Lakers are interested in Donovan Mitchell. Some hack in Phoenix said that the Lakers wanted Donovan Mitchell. Well, my mom wants Donovan Mitchell. I don't think she can have him either.
Right.
I think that was probably too far.
Right.
That was probably too
far.
I think to really surmise this situation with Donovan Mitchell and Danny Ainge, I think Danny Ainge knows that he's got the NBA on a string right now. I think Danny Ainge is trying to drum up more value from the Knicks, and I think most of these rumors are bogus. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are an easy rumor to make because the Jazz were very clearly interested in Colin Sexton at one point. And I think that the Utah Jazz have a dearth of picks and talent that they can trade to Cleveland to make that deal happen yesterday if they wanted to. I think Malik Beasley's a guy that they would trade. I don't think the Jazz are interested in trading Jared Vanderbilt. I think he's a nice young player that was, from what I understand, the time that trade went down, Jared Vanderbilt was a must-have for Danny Ainge. So I have a hard time believing he's going to turn around and flip Jared Vanderbilt to the Knicks, the Cavs, the Lakers, to anybody
right
at this point. But it'll be certainly interesting to see. Let's get more of your comments in here. Thanks again for being here. Rants on Len Dawson says probably not inside the NFL host. I mean, the guy hosted that show on HBO for 24 years. I know Len Dawson, the Pro Football Hall of Famer and Chiefs legend, by the way, who passed away this morning. I know Lenny better as the host of Inside the NFL on HBO than I do as a Kansas City Chief Super Bowl champion. I don't think there's any doubt about that. New York Jazz fan says these hacks in Phoenix always hacking. Mm-hmm. Hoops World says Phoenix have by far the worst reporters, insiders in the NBA. I would agree with that. Ken Williams says, hey, New York, bro. Bro, it's New York, bro. It's Gotham.
Bro.
I was told yesterday, by the way, that New Yorkers hate when you call New York Gotham.
Okay. Wow.
I never even thought about calling it Gotham until yesterday when people brought it up. DM Forever says Danny Ainge should not trade Mitchell. There are not many players like him in the NBA. Why is it hard to keep guards like Mitchell? He's a stud. I think it is very difficult to find guys that are as dynamic as Donovan Mitchell. There's no
I think
doubt
it's hard
about
to keep him because he is a stud. Everybody wants him. That's the problem.
Antonio Ruiz, good morning to you, sir. He says, I repeat, as a number 2 or 3, RJ Barrett is one of the only 5 players in NBA history to tally more than 3,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, 500 assists, 200 threes before turning 22.
Yeah, the guy can play. I'm not saying he can't play, but I just think that's great that he's got stats. It's the lack of athleticism. It is the
he's
the style of play.
An alpha male.
Yeah,
he's
just
not.
Yeah,
he's not, and everybody points to, and look at that, Antonio Ruiz just did that. The only other players in that category are Kevin Durant, Kobe, LeBron, and Luka Doncic's mom.
Right.
There's nobody putting RJ Barrett in that category.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. And by the way, I would also remind you that when you're going to point out Kobe, LeBron, and Durant, I would tell you that was a very different era of NBA when they were 22 years old. I mean, if you look at Kevin Durant, what is he, 31 now?
Sure.
Kevin Durant or something?
Yeah, something like that.
That was almost 10 years ago. You have to understand the NBA is completely different. This is a 3-point league now. It was not a 3-point league when Kobe and LeBron broke in.
And it's a soft league now. Everything is called.
Listen, I don't dislike RJ Barrett, but RJ Barrett is not the best player on a championship team. There's nobody who's going to argue that he is.
And nobody's projecting him to be the Kevin Durant level player.
No.
Nobody.
No.
That's not just us. Nobody is projecting him to be that.
What's up, Scandura says the Knicks trade RJ, it's going to be tough to be a Knicks fan for a while. I agree with that. I actually think RJ Barrett's one of those guys who's a mild-mannered dude, and Knicks fans genuinely appreciate him.
Yeah.
And I think that RJ Barrett's been one of their best players through a very difficult period of time. I don't think there's any Knicks fan that would argue this is a transitional period. You are going from awful, embarrassing organization to competitive NBA team to now, hey, let's take that next big step and become a championship caliber ball club. That's the period of time that the Knicks are in. So again, we asked on the show yesterday, is it time for the Knicks to walk away from this trade? I'm telling you, the New York Knicks are better walking away from this. The obsession that apparently Leon Rose has with bringing Donovan to New York, I think at this point you're in over your skis, Leon, on this. I would just walk away. And I again say, Leon Rose is well respected around the NBA. He's a guy that a lot of people were impressed with the moves he's made. I think if he makes this Donovan trade and it is for unprotected first-round picks, man, I just think you're overpaying for Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
And again, a guy is only worth what somebody's willing to pay for him. I don't believe that Leon Rose is going to overpay in this situation. I think he would rather walk away without Donovan Mitchell than overpaying. And I think he's done a very good job to this point. And I know, as we've reported on this show and now multiple people after have reported, Leon Rose has been frustrated with Danny Ainge.
Yeah.
And Leon Rose has felt like Danny Ainge has had an incredibly high bar to acquire Donovan Mitchell, but understandably so. I just don't think you want to be the team that overpays for a guy like Don. I don't. And what I mean by that is no slight to Donovan Mitchell, but if you are the Knicks and you overpay for Donovan Mitchell, you're hurting yourself because you got to understand Don is not a guy that's going to win you a championship or make you even a championship caliber ball club now.
Yeah.
You'd have to go out and make another move for a second guy. And if you look at what's on this roster, I don't think there's any doubt Jalen Brunson will never be mistaken as the guy. Mm-hmm. Again, he's not going to be the best player on a championship team. Now, can Jalen Brunson be a critical cog on an NBA championship team? Absolutely he can. Can he be that savvy paint scorer, foul drawing, defensive gnat? Yes, he can.
Yeah.
But he's not that guy, right? So the Knicks still have more moves to make even if they acquire Donovan Mitchell. And that's why I asked yesterday, I'll reiterate my opinion. The New York Knicks should walk away from this version of this Donovan Mitchell trade and just say, hey, you know what? We're going to wait. Because let's be clear about something with Don. He's going to wear a Knick uniform. Is that now or is that 5 years down the road? Is that 7 years down the road?
Yeah.
Sooner or later, Don's putting on the uniform.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. If you're the Knicks, you don't need that to be right now. Be brutally honest with yourself. Do you need Donovan Mitchell right now today? As a Knick fan, ask yourself that question. Do you need Donovan Mitchell right now today? And I think you'll come to the rationale that you don't.
Well, and I think that, so this is the beautiful thing about negotiation. I really appreciate this. Just generally speaking, like when people are negotiating over anything, the willingness to walk away or to say, hey, I don't have to do this right this second really brings you tremendous value because, again, and we've talked about this. I mean, there obviously is a lot on the line for Donovan Mitchell this season. If he comes out and he has, let's just say he has a garbage season where he only puts up like 22 points a night, let's say, just like a bad season where he's awful. Okay, that's obviously going to change his trade value. Conversely, if he comes out and puts up 29 points a game for the season, if that's his season average, and he's giving you 35 points a night regularly, then obviously Donovan Mitchell's trade value is going to go up. And so that's why I say the ability to have the cojones to walk away, right? Cojones to walk away, I think is super valuable because if you're the Knicks, you have this pile of assets. So that means, okay, if we have this pile of assets, yeah, we want Donnie, but if we can go and get someone else that brings us value and maybe we only have to give up half of what Danny Ainge is asking, I would think that's a solution the New York Knicks would be interested in. But I think the other question you have to ask as a Knicks fan is what is the goal this season? If the goal is to win a championship, the other problem is getting Donovan Mitchell doesn't take you to that place. Getting Donovan Mitchell takes you probably 75% of the way there. You need another guy. So you can't give up all this capital to get Donovan Mitchell. So that's why I say this is a very, difficult is probably a harsh word, but it's just not an easy situation to get this deal done because of the Knicks' circumstances and the parameters that they have to work within. So that's why I think that the ability to walk away from this and really let some time go by, let's see what Donovan does this year, I think is an interesting angle. I think that's very much an opinion, thought. Like, hey, some people would tell you should walk away. Other people will tell you, no, you got to go and get him now because the odds are he's going to go off. Like, I think that's a really interesting thing.
I would walk away. I'd walk away. I would. Hey, Butthead says.
Hey, Butthead.
Hey, Butthead.
Dude. What did you just wake up and say, hey, my name is going to be Hey Butthead?
Hey Butthead.
I saw it.
Says, what happened to KD to the Jazz? Well, I don't know that KD was ever coming to the Jazz. I have no idea.
I mean, we had a conversation about that, the fact that, the Jazz should definitely have called, like back when Kevin Durant was available.
But and that discussion centered around this idea that Salt Lake City is a major market. And I just think the Jazz have to act like that. So I think it ended up pretty much how everybody knew that was going to end. I just don't. Once Sean Marks didn't make a trade in the first 10 days after that trade demand, I think you knew where that was going. Tracy Fitzgerald, Donovan isn't an alpha on a team either. Oh, certainly he is.
Well, I think
certainly he is.
So it depends what you mean by that comment. Donovan Mitchell absolutely is an alpha player on a basketball team. He is a 1 or a 2 on any team, depending on the roster on that team. Like on the Jazz, he's the number 1 guy. On a Brooklyn Nets team with Kevin Durant, he's number 2 to Kevin Durant. You know what I mean? So he's definitely an alpha. It's just a matter of if he's going to be a 1 or a 2. But I just, I mean, as far as that Kevin Durant thing, they absolutely should have called the Nets on Kevin Durant, as did 30 other teams in the league or whatever. Yeah,
I agree. Hoops World says RJ is statistically the worst finisher at the rim in the entire NBA. I don't know. Is that true? I mean, I'm not
but again,
verifying that, but we talked about this as well. And I think Knick fans lit the world on fire when I said I think RJ Barrett can be had physically. He's not a great physical.
It's a mentality thing, though.
Yeah, I mean he's a guy that you can body. So, which is one of my biggest concerns about him, is that I think you need to mentality is probably the right word.
It's a mentality. I mean, look at Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's not bigger than anybody, but he moves people all the time. It's a mentality thing.
Josh Lovering, good morning, Coach. He says RJ Barrett is trending to the DeMar DeRozan, Jimmy Butler territory as an on-court talent. Wow. I think DeMar DeRozan and Jimmy Butler are 2 totally different players.
But I see what you're saying there. DeMar DeRozan and Jimmy Butler are not top-tier players. They are really good, can be the best player on your team, but they're not Kevin Durant level players.
The thing that I would say is both those guys are clutch. I think DeMar DeRozan showed an incredible clutch gene last year in multiple games. I mean, if he's trending towards that, I would tell you that DeMar DeRozan's a superior player to RJ Barrett. Jimmy Butler, I just think if RJ Barrett had Jimmy Butler's tenacity, if RJ Barrett had Jimmy Butler's alpha mentality, I think RJ Barrett could be a completely different player.
That's pretty much self-explanatory.
But I haven't seen very many players. It's interesting. Today's Mamba Day.
Yeah.
I worked for the Lakers when Kobe was a rookie shooting air balls against the Utah Jazz in the playoffs. Shooting air balls against Charlotte in the playoffs from 3. You knew right then and there he was going to be a stud. Because when you have a guy like that who's willing to put himself in those positions and is courting failure, you know that you have somebody who's going to crush. RJ Barrett's not that guy. He's not that guy. He's not that mentally. He's not that guy. DeMar DeRozan's that guy. Jimmy Butler's that guy. Kevin Durant's that guy. LeBron's certainly that guy. Anthony Davis is that guy. I think Kawhi Leonard's that guy. Paul George is that guy. Does DeMar put a team over the top? He does. But is DeMar DeRozan the best player on a championship team? Probably not. Probably not. So is Jimmy Butler the best player on a championship team? Heat were awfully close.
Yeah.
Heat were awfully close. But what does awfully close mean on your resume? Nothing. It means absolutely nothing. So I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting comparison. It's certainly a conversation. It'll be interesting. NYCE718 says it's only a matter of time before Donovan forces his way out, or shall I say verbally forces his way out. If he continues to be cool, he's going to lose. I think Danny Ainge hasn't spent a lot of time on terrible teams.
Yeah.
So this is one of the other narratives I think is very interesting about the Jazz. If Donovan stays, he's never going to win a ring.
Oh, what a loser!
So Danny Ainge doesn't build championship teams. Furthermore, Danny Ainge doesn't trade and build championship teams through trades. I think that's exactly what his track record says he does.
And what are we talking about?
So I think if Donovan Mitchell stays here, And I don't know that happens. Again, I would put it at 65% that he stays here. I think that he should expect Danny Ainge to go and improve this roster dramatically. Now, could they trade him? Sure. Is it likely? Yeah. I mean, it could happen. But I still maintain Don's never asked to be traded. Don's never been a problem in the locker room. And I think very clearly that if the Jazz get 4 first-round picks that are unprotected, they're going to trade Donovan Mitchell. I think that's an awfully high bar. Because not a lot of teams in the NBA have that. Not a lot of teams have that. And my Jazz fan says, where is James Knight, Ryan Buckley when you need them? They would be slapping things down. Well, that's very true.
Yeah, where's the muscle in the chat?
Let's see. Slang Tang.
Okay.
Slang Tang.
Who the f*** is that guy?
I'm sorry. I thought you said your name was Slang Tang.
Yes.
Who else are the worst finishers statistically? I'll just say anything. Well, I don't know. I don't look at who the worst finishers in the NBA are.
I'm more interested in the best finishers.
Yeah, because I can tell you I'm the best finisher.
Yeah.
Ask your mom.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ryan
Wow.
Scandu.
Wow.
What?
Ask your mom.
What? What?
Wow.
RJ is also statistically the best at getting to the rim. He just needs to finish better. I agree.
Please.
Which comes with maturity.
Yeah.
Which comes with opportunity. Manchild says RJ is hard worker. He'll reach his potential eventually. Which is why you don't trade Donovan Mitchell. Let's see. JJ says RJ has a ton of flaws after 3 years. Okay. Wilton Mina. Yo. DeMar DeRozan and Jimmy Butler are way older than RJ.
Yeah.
Right, but he said projects to be. Projects. That means forward.
Projects and stuff.
Wilton Mina says stop the hate. Yeah, stop the hate.
Yeah.
So you better check yourself.
Stop the hate, Balake. Good Lord. Let's see. New York Jazz fan says DeMar. I hear it. DeMar. I don't like it. See what he did? See DeMar.
DeMar and DeMar, and he put it all together, and right.
No.
Okay. Uh-huh.
DeMar. I hear it. DeMar. I don't like it.
Right.
DeMar has made some huge leaps. Jimmy Butler is cold-blooded. Jordan and Mamba mentality. I would agree with that. Let's see. Acapulco Trade Rumors gives us $10.
Who the f*** is that guy?
He says, wow.
Wow, bro, you have not had one of those in a while.
That's about the 4th or 5th time this year where I've just been talking and it happens. Moving on. What? Acapulco Trade Rumors gives us $9.99 and says, let's be honest, Danny Ainge was a failed baseball player who lucked out playing with Bird.
Oh, please.
Leon Rose is a maestro of trades. The Leon
I thought you said Leon was a maestro of trades. We're talking about the same Leon, right? The New York Knicks Leon, right?
Leon Rose is a maestro of trades. Donovan for a second rounder and Fournier. Get it done, World Wide West. Wow, a World Wide West. I mean, I listen, I understand cocaine's a hell of a drug, but it's even in New. I mean, it's only 9:30 in New York.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Slow down. Tanner Plummer says, guys, hey, Monty, that was a pathetic burp. It wasn't intentional.
Hey, guys.
I wasn't trying to throw it out there. Okay, let's move on.
I wasn't trying to throw it out there. Do you
Work
think
with
I'm
me.
going to play your little games today?
Work with me.
Bro, come on.
Work with me. JJ says, haha, wow. What happened when Donovan hit superstar status? Then what will the Jazz let him go for? The price will be more than now. Yeah, I just think that I'm telling you, the Knicks should walk away from this deal.
Yeah.
Ken Williams says crack time. Manchild says, I would love to see the Knicks ride with what they have right now. I'm not on the Mitchell bandwagon. I actually think the Knicks have a pretty good starting point roster. Like, if you're going to build forward, and this is what, by the way, the Jazz are trying to accomplish as we talk Jazz and Knicks on the Monty Show. I think that if you're the Knicks, you're at a pretty good place with this roster. I mean, as a Knick fan, if you look back over the last 10 years of rosters, I would think you have to feel pretty good about where you are right now. I mean, I would think anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you're in a better place.
I mean, there's no doubt you're in a better place. It's simply a matter of, do you feel like you have the core pieces to win and win now? And I think you have to feel like you do. You're moving in that right direction. So giving up all of your assets to build on that core for one guy who doesn't make you a ring, I just think that's a mistake.
I want it.
Slang Tang says, shout out to Worldwide Wes.
Shout out to Mobamba.
Let's see. M. Morris says Mitchell and Rudy weren't a great combo. No, they were not. May 4th says a jazz show with a Jordan poster hanging proudly in the background. And just what is being said to Utah Nation with Jordan hanging in the air. This is crazy.
Well, first of all.
Well, No, please.
We're not a Utah Jazz only show.
No.
We're a sports talk show, right?
Correct.
That's in Salt Lake City. So Michael Jordan, statistically and in your brains, is the best basketball player ever. And it ain't close. And by the way, tell the story about this thing, because this thing has a story.
So Bruce at the Bud Plant.
Bruce!
Back in the day when I was the morning drive juggernaut of assholishness on 1320K fan.
Right.
Here in Salt Lake City. This guy, Bruce, who is essentially a beverage guy, knew that I was a Chicagoan and a huge Chicago Bulls fan.
Right.
And so he called me one day and he's like, hey, bro, I have this rare Gatorade poster. And it's not a poster. It's actually really thick cardboard.
It's a cardboard
cutout.
Yeah, cutout, basically.
And it's authentic. It is Gatorade used to put these in all of the 7-Elevens across the country as a promotional piece to sell Gatorade.
Right.
And so as a kid, like this thing was amazing. And so he called me. He's like, hey, you know what, dude? I have one of these. Do you want it?
Yes.
I was like, absolutely. He's like, you got to promise me you won't sell it. I was like, I'm never selling that. Like, I've moved this thing. Like, it's one of my prized possessions. As a guy that grew up in Chicago, like, dude, like it's not just some poster on the wall that I picked up at Walmart.
Yeah, you're a jazz show with a Jordan poster thing.
I mean, I'm a Chicagoan. Yeah. And literally my license plate says flu game.
Savage.
I mean, like I'm a Chicagoan. So,
Savage.
I understand why you're bitter.
Right.
I understand why you're bitter.
Right.
We get it. And I'm better looking than you.
Uh-huh.
So I understand it.
That's it, Skippy.
Yeah. JJ says, as a Knicks fan, we're still in mediocrity, though. Well, you're coming out of that, though.
Yeah.
Ken Williams, Don is a great player. He gets a mid-range game. Look out. He has the tape from this summer. Come on. CM says, as an avid Knicks fan, haven't missed a single game in 3 years. There are way too many casuals who call themselves Knicks fans. Ooh.
Well.
Ooh.
I mean,
You're a casual.
Ooh. NY Jazz fan says, Jake speaks the truth. Okay. May the 4th says, so what with all this jazz nonsense? What do you mean jazz nonsense?
Yeah, what are you talking about, dude?
What are you talking about? Samuel Lott says, May 4th is a clown. Shut up.
Yeah.
Okay. Ryan Buckley says MJ's the GOAT. Okay.
Yeah.
We're moving in the right direction.
Right. Now we're coming out of mediocrity. Good.
JJ says Nick's young core isn't good enough. It's not. I agree with that. Look, James Knight has arrived.
James Knight.
I see there's some rookies in the comments today. James Knight, my brother from Australia. Good to see you. James, by the way, is a longtime listener of the show.
Yes.
Who still do not make any bets with James Knight. He will welch on those bets.
Uh-huh.
He owes us a keg of 4X gold.
I like how we're at a keg now. That's the interest you're paying, James. We started at a 6-pack, and now we're all the way up to a keg.
Kegger, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, bro. How about a kegger, bro? You owe me a keg of 4X gold. James, always good to see you, friend. Cam says MJ's the GOAT. We know. No, Cam, you're the GOAT. Good to see you, Cam. Brian Jacob says, geez, do the Knicks have anybody who can make a right-hand layup? I'm just kidding.
Savage.
They don't. J. Deals Direct says, Knicks have 9 players under 25. Giving up 2-3 young role players is not giving up all.
Yeah.
If you give up I'm just telling you now. If you give up quickly, Grimes and Toppin to make this deal happen, you're stepping in the wrong direction.
It's really despicable.
Then you're going to throw in unprotected first-round picks. It's the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
Which is why the deal hasn't been done. Listen, I'm no Obi Toppin guy. I think he's a role player. That's what I think of
Yeah,
Obi
that's what
Toppin.
he is right now. But I think he has explosiveness. I think he can be.
Well, sure, but see, everybody can dunk.
Right, but
Everybody can dunk.
Right. I get it. Everybody can dunk, but not everybody has the ability he has to run up and down. Not everybody has the ability to play in the pick and roll game the way he has that ability. Like, I think he has some nice skill set, but I agree he's a role player right now. He needs development. There's no doubt about that.
What do you know?
Nothing, clearly. I
You
mean,
hack.
I'm just this guy that hosts a jazz show with a Jordan poster on the wall. You know, like that's just what we are.
Jerk.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Sammy DMs me on Twitter.
Here we go. In vanishing mode.
Sammy says, "Why do you let Knick fans on your show? I love you guys. You're my favorite sports show.
Uh-huh.
I hate the Knicks and I hate Knick fans. New Yorkers think everybody outside of New York is stupid or doesn't know what they're talking about. And as for the idiot who is ripping you for the Jordan poster, I'd give you $1,000 right now for that poster.
Oh.
I would frame it and I would hang it in my basement. I have a man cave that has a perfect spot for that. What a dummy."
Man.
I'm just...
Bro, do we even need to keep doing the show? Like that comment right there, just like, you know.
I don't disagree. And I think, and maybe it's just me, but I mean...
Excellent.
Need a round of applause for that.
Absolutely, positively excellent DM.
The question is, why are you DMing me instead of putting that in the comments? Because you probably don't want to get smoked by the comments. Because I have a feeling, you could be, yeah. Josh Lovren says, May the 4th is Byron Russell fan, #1. Probably not wrong. Ken Williams, Jordan is a stud. Nothing wrong with that, Monty. Is from the Windy City. I love that poster. And see, that's where most people come around to. Hey, why do you have a Jordan poster on a jazz show? Are you trying to trigger me? Yeah, are you triggering me?
Are you triggering me?
Look, Deshaun, take it easy.
Okay. Okay.
I've always stood on my innocence.
Swiderski, what's up?
Sup, dude?
What's up, bro? If KD stays, when will we see trades? Well, he is staying.
Yeah.
And I think you're already starting to see free agencies lightening up. Like, I'm curious what happens to Carmelo Anthony.
Bro, we got bots, bro.
We got bots in the chat.
Yeah, we got bots.
Good looking, Jake.
I don't know what happens to Carmelo Anthony, man. I mean, the guy obviously, what is he, a free agent right now, trying to find a team. I think he's obviously still has more left in the tank. He'll get signed somewhere. I don't know where that's going to be though, because he's a bench guy.
I think that's the guy that the dam breaks.
Yes.
Like, I think when you start seeing those guys sign contracts, Colin Sexton's another very interesting player.
Sign and trade guy.
I don't think you can bring him back to Cleveland. I think that bridge has been burned. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to him. I mean, there's value out there.
Yeah.
I still maintain that this has been a pretty disappointing summer. And we're coming down to the last 4 weeks of summer.
Right.
Here we are on the 24th of August. 2 weeks from now, I'll be in Hawaii, and you won't.
88 days of snowboarding season, just saying.
Less roll.
Just saying.
I think that there is a lot of credence in the idea that, the dam's going to break and there's going to be a dozen signings and trades that are going to happen in like a 3-day period. I think that could happen. All right, May the 4th. Says Knicks fans are tuning into a show that's not even dedicated Jazz Channel for information.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What May the 4th? Listen,
this is not hard to understand. Like,
yeah,
it's not.
No. Tanner Plummer says, yeah, basically Slang Ting. My uncle was the one who tried to do it. I don't know what Slang Ting said. Didn't Jazz fans try to poison Jordan? Well, this depends on who you ask.
Bro, do we really need to tell this story right now?
Well, most people know the Jordan pizza story, right?
Yeah. That
Jordan ordered pizza and supposedly and food poisoning, and I mean the conspiracy theory that would have to have that happen.
Right.
I mean, come on. All right, Lou Memorabilia says Broadway, Barrett, Brunson, and the law firm of Mitchell and Mitchell Robinson will make the Knicks 10 games better, according to Woj. I don't disagree with that. The problem is, does 10 wins, what is that 10 win value? What is the 10 win, where does that put you?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't put you at the top of the East. That puts you in the middle of the East.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Gets you
cool.
into the playoffs
it makes
every
you a
year.
playoff team.
Yeah.
But are the Knicks in business just to make the playoffs?
Nope.
It wouldn't seem so. I mean, I think that's, again, I just maintain I would walk away. And I'm happy to do a little poll. Do you guys think that the smarter move is the smarter move to walk away? I think the smarter move might be to walk away.
I think that your point about Don eventually one way or the other being a Knick is well taken. I think that one way or the other he will be, and it's just a matter of time. And I think that you just can't get so obsessed on one deal that you give up way too much and you make a mistake. Yeah. That's the problem. Bro.
Look at the Knicks fans coming out. Knicks fans support the show. I think we have a great contingent of Knicks fans on our show. Knicks fans are great to talk basketball with. No one did that, LOL. May 4th says, oh, CM, I'll catch you in a real Knicks show to let you know my MHFKN fandom level. Okay. Well, hey, you have a good day now. Bye-bye. K. Nurin says, my last son is named Jordan. Best name ever. Okay. Mysterious Loop says, let's go Knicks.
It's what's so funny to me? I love when Knicks fans or other fans, like, I don't really care who your team is or whatever, like, you can be whatever, you can support whatever team. I love when people are like, I'm going to go to another show that's a real show. As if somehow you leaving, like, crushes our show or something.
We're devastated.
Like, we're devastated. Like, I love having you. I love your opinions here. But if you're just so upset about it, then...
Wait. Breaking news. What are the sound effects? Let's see. Wait.
No, that's not it. That's not it. Nope. That's definitely not it.
Okay, wait. That actually works.
Oh, okay.
7,002 subscribers
hey.
on the show. 7,000 subscribers.
And by the way, we did it without Dude.
Fuck off. Like, are you kidding me? That was like 10 seconds of me hanging there.
Okay.
Hey, 7,000.
10 seconds is the longest you've ever had, so let's just chill out,
Hey,
okay?
I last 12 seconds last night, in fact.
I'll drop that mother.
Here, let me high five myself.
Yeah. There you go.
Anyway, the point is, we are now over 7,000 subs. We appreciate that. 7,002. We appreciate you guys being here. And MIC718 says, congrats, well deserved. Riley O'Brien says, let's go. Don't leave him hanging, LOL. Yeah.
I was ready to go in on the Knicks fan.
Bro,
when you
I was
tried to
sitting
give
here
me a
for
high
like 10
five.
seconds.
It wasn't
like...
10 seconds. It was 3 seconds. Jack wagon.
Oh, my God. JJ says, high fives always end awkward. Okay, come on. You ready? Good job. Top Junkie says, congrats on 7,002. I wonder what percentage of those are Knicks fans.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, that's great. Riley O'Brien says, well done, fellas. Love you guys. Thanks, Riley. Appreciate you being here. Tanner says, LOL, another L for Jake. Exactly. CM says, LOL, May 4th, you're embarrassing yourself. You are. Because, like, when Knicks fans come to the defense of us, like, you know you did something wrong.
Yeah.
Calling to Knicks fan TV, is that a real thing? Is that true? Yeah, let's see. Mrs. Montio give me an actual high five. See how that works, Jake? Like, she shows up on the show and doesn't leave me hanging. Like, you're doing it again.
You're not actually trying to high five me.
Okay.
That wasn't a real attempt.
Ken Williams says, poor Mrs. Monty got 7 seconds last night. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly right. 12 seconds. Okay. Clark Kent over here. Oh, my God. Boyd Lake says, Monty looks like Tom Brady looking for a high five. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Remember that when Tom Brady's like...
Yeah. Trying to high five his teammates.
That's hysterical. Marlon Shaw says, don't feel bad. Monty Jake's girlfriend had the same experience.
Savage, bro. Savage.
That's awesome, Marlon. Kurt Meyer says, you need to work on that 5. Yes. Yes. Kay Nurin says, don't forget to hit that like button. Yeah, give us a like. That would be better than the high five I didn't get today.
You know.
Nick's Bacher says, Danny Ainge doesn't have the Knicks hostage. Nobody said he has the Knicks hostage.
Yeah, nobody said that.
As the preseason gets closer, he's going to fold.
Nah, he won't. He won't.
We'll see. We will see. May the 4th. CM, you don't speak for Knicks fans nowhere. Who are you? Well, no, May 4th. I'd ask.
You know what's funny, too?
I'd ask, who are you?
Are his comments all in caps?
Yes. He's that dude. He is that dude.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
Jay Deals Direct says, Jazz haven't made one winning move this offseason. Oh, really? So the Rudy Gobert trade wasn't a winning move? You cleared. So I totally disagree with that.
This is too easy.
I mean, the Rudy Gobert trade is a win.
By the way, that wasn't just a win for their cap situation. They broke the league with that trade. You understand that, right? Danny Ainge has been in control of setting the value of trades moving forward.
I think that trade is why Kevin Durant didn't get traded.
Yeah, I think that the Rudy Gobert trade had such an impact on the league that we've just been sitting here waiting because now the trade is all messed up. Like the trade values are all messed up, and I think Danny Ainge, deserves a lot of credit for that.
M. Alvarez says, I don't think Mrs. Monty ever leaves you hanging. Wow, I'm just going to move on. JJ says, don't do breaking news during trade rumor moments. LOL, you got me excited. Well, it's not my fault dude kicked the bucket during the show. I probably should have been a little more supportive of his dad.
Yeah, next question.
New York Jazz fan says, amen, Jake. Rance says, same with Royce for a first rounder was a good move. Oh,
yeah,
Royce
dude,
for a first rounder is a great example,
point.
Rance.
Everyone forgets about the Royce O'Neal trade. Like, that was the first deal.
Yeah, that's a great point, Rance. Very good point.
Yeah.
Neville93 says, hey, Monty, I heard Mitch was going to get traded to Panama. Is that true? Well, the Panamanian national team really is looking for a two-guard that can be a 1-2 combo.
Bojan Bogdanovic.
Bagsnatchevich, I'm just saying and stuff. Yeah, Neville, I think that's absolutely right. All right. How we doing?
We're good, man.
7,000 subscribers. Real quick, just to... that's a pretty big moment for us. 7,000 subs on this show that's insane. That is insane.
I mean, there's and this is just going off of analytics and trends based on, what YouTube's telling us, but there is a pretty good chance that we will get to 10,000 subs before the end of the year if everything trends correctly.
Yeah, we have a huge announcement coming.
2 weeks?
Yeah, maybe. 2 weeks. I mean, the game's
3 weeks probably. 3 weeks.
The game's going to change on this show.
Yeah.
So we'll see exactly how all that shakes out, but the game's going to change on this show. Sammy Lantigua. Sammy Lantigua. What do you guys think of a 3-team trade? Lakers, Knicks, Jazz, including Mitchell, Fournier, D Rose, Beverly, Conley, Bojan Bogdanovic, and Westbrook. See, so the hack in Phoenix saying that all the Lakers are interested in Donovan Mitchell.
No.
So I think I said this yesterday on the show.
Yeah.
The Lakers would like very much and have worked very hard to be the third team in a Knicks Jazz deal.
Facts.
The problem is that they want Kyrie Irving for 2 first-round unprotected picks that the Lakers have.
Yeah.
Well, we now know that Kyrie Irving's not available.
Mm-hmm.
And we now know that the Lakers have 2 first-round picks they're willing to trade. So there is value in that. And what we talked about on the show yesterday is the issue is going to be what do the Lakers want for those 2 first-round picks? If you're the Jazz, and let's say, hey, we're going to ship Donovan Mitchell ends up in New York, either because I know the Lakers really value Mike Conley.
Mm-hmm.
If Mike Conley's the guy that ends up in, his, I think $21 million he's scheduled to make or whatever, ends up in LA, are the Lakers going to send 2 unprotected first-round picks to the Jazz? And they're going to send Russell Westbrook out? Well, that salary doesn't match up because he's making, $47 million. So now is Fournier the one that ends up in L.A.? Is Derrick Rose in? Because Derrick Rose's salary works in that. So I think there's a deal to be made. I think the question is, does Danny have an appetite to buy out Russell Westbrook? I think that's a really big question. And I think it's one of those things where you have to ask yourself, what is Danny's appetite to take on that kind of project?
It doesn't make sense to me that you moved Rudy Gobert to free up cap space just to buy out Russell Westbrook. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about like decisions and how your decisions add up, the goal before the Gobert trade was, hey, we got to move this guy to get some cap flexibility and to get ourselves right financially. So to make a deal where you got to buy out, what is Russ getting? $45 million or whatever it is?
Something stupid. Yeah, $47
like that.
million. Let me look it up real quick.
Like when a guy's making that much money, it just doesn't make sense to me that you would want to buy him out as part of a Donovan Mitchell trade. And that's why I say, like, I think at the core of it, you have to understand that Danny Ainge doesn't have to trade Don. Like, and this is where I start to part ways.
Russ is at $47,063,000.
So $47,063,000. Like, think about that.
Do you understand he's making $10 million more than Anthony Davis?
Like, if you think about it, it is a boatload of money. And so when I start to look at how this offseason's played out for the Utah Jazz, yes, Royce O'Neal deal was a win. But like everybody said, wow, you got a first rounder for Royce O'Neal. That's incredible. Then you stack the Gobert deal on top of that. And now what has it been? 8 weeks now probably of this Donovan Mitchell,
we're
Knicks
going on
trade.
2 months.
Like, it's been a long time, it feels like. And that's why I say the reason it's going on this long journey in time is because Danny doesn't have to trade him. So this idea that, they're rebuilding and they're burning it down, and that's why they're going to do this 3-teamer, I just disagree. I don't think they're burning it down. I think what the Utah Jazz are doing is they're saying, hey, Don and Rudy has been proven not to work. Whatever you think about these two guys, that combo doesn't work. We got to change that. And that's what they're going through that process. So I just don't think it's not a tear down rebuild thing.
Cody Strickland says, can I get Monty's shirt but in Jake's shirt style? So he wants like a polo shirt. See, Mrs. Monty this morning was being a jerk. I mean, because she's a jerk. She hangs around me all day. I'm a bad influence on people. We get it.
Right.
And she's like, oh, Jake's outdressing you. He looks better. He has better style. His shirts are nicer. Listen, bro, I have one kind of shirt, and it's a black shirt. I have probably 10 black T-shirts. I have probably 5 black Callaway golf polo shirts.
Yeah.
You look in my closet, it is literally just a row of black T-shirts hanging.
Admittedly, I did order some new colored polo shirts. So,
what'd you say?
I didn't. All I said is you got to step up your game.
It's hurtful.
I want better.
It's hurtful.
Your closet is a black hole of darkness, but you have an opportunity. Just it's a black
quote, a black hole of darkness.
Look, it is not time to turn the camera around on you quite yet.
No, they can't handle me yet.
You watch yourself.
You
watch yourself.
You can't take the truth.
Because you don't want me to start talking about your black hole of darkness. You
M-O-N-T-Y, the Monty
You
Show.
don't. You don't.
Wow.
Take it easy.
Okay.
Wow.
I do need to. Mrs. Monty's not incorrect.
Right.
I probably do need to hello?
Diversify
take some English classes
liquidity
and courses and
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
I do need to diversify the color palette.
What is your, real quick, just sidebar, what would be the first color of polo you would go to besides black? Like, I know you have one that's like a blue.
I have a Carolina blue one. I have a red one. I don't know. I don't know.
See, when I look at clothes, I'm always
know.
like, all right, what Jordans am I wearing with this outfit?
But
that's the thing about black shirts.
People joke that
matchy. You got to be matchy.
You do. I think for those of you who don't know or are new to the show, like those Jordans on the wall, those are all my Jordans. Like I think I am pushing, and we have 2 minutes until I get another Jordan.
Jordan 3 Dark Iris, that's a must-have.
This purple
yes,
Jordan
it's a
3
must-have, dude. If you don't
must.
know what this...
Wait, I thought we weren't doing this.
We're not doing it.
We're not doing it.
It's again, black hole of death.
Yeah, my point is, I would do purple. I'm a black guy. Like, I am black. I wear everything. I wear jeans. I wear, like, comfortable. I have like these really comfortable slacks. Like I'm a Jordan guy, so I base my outfit on my Jordans that I'm going to wear that day.
Right.
That's who I am. That's what I do.
Right.
So anyway, I'm in on this, Iris. I you know what? To hell with it. We're going to announce 2 major sponsors on the show next week. I'm in on this dark iris.
We got some tips coming in.
We do. So, Cody, no, you can't have my polo shirt. Stitchy Mitchy Yo. Stitchy Mitchy Yo! For 4 now, I should probably be a rapper. Says, if Don stays, who are some players you think the Jazz should focus on getting to round out that roster? You're going to have to find a big.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have to trade Patrick Beverley. I've been told repeatedly they would like to move Malik Beasley.
Yeah.
Which I understand. I mean, he doesn't fit into what they're doing. But I don't necessarily have an answer on a specific player for you. We if you've watched this show for any amount of time, you know we do not do trade speculations. We don't use the ESPN trade machine to see if this trade is a 76-player trade that'll work.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to say, hey, like what trade or what players can they go out and get, because I think, frankly, you just don't know who's going to be available, and you don't know what teams they're going to be dealing with. Like, think about how many teams could be in on a potential Patrick Beverley deal. I mean, literally, like, I'm not exaggerating. That's like the whole league that you could trade him to. So that's why I say when we start looking at 3-team, 4-team, deals, I think it becomes increasingly difficult to say who they should go after. Now,
it does.
Some of the names we've talked about in the past are your John Collins, or when the Utah Jazz were engaged with the Chicago Bulls, like there were some opportunities there. But that's why I say I would rather just say, hey, I'm not sure, because I truly am not sure. I don't know. There's not like a list of a couple of guys that they should go and get. There's just not.
And I think when you have the assets that these two teams have, I think you have to be very careful with the moves that you choose to make. I think if you are, and again, not to keep going back to the Knicks, but the Knicks have very little reason to make this deal.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I just think you have very little reason to make this deal. NY Jazz fan says, got my shirt, got my Monty shirt. Love the show. Thanks, guys.
Go.
Appreciate you, man.
Let's go.
Thank you. Judicial Protest wants to know if Jake is sponsored by Oscar Mayer.
I don't get that joke.
I'm going to move on because that has potential to be dangerous. Sammy Lantigua gives us a $5 tip. Thank you. Says, if Danny buys out Westbrook, where do you guys see him best fitting as? Could Westbrook put Philly over the top? See, you beat me to it. I was going to say, I know for a fact if he's a free agent, Philly's going to make that call. Because I think Philadelphia really wants, there's a lot that Philly wants. And I think Philly knows they are good, not great.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of belief around the league that Philadelphia is going to improve themselves. And by the way, Bojan Bogdanovic is a name that's been linked to Philadelphia. So, I mean, you look at Philly's cap, I can't remember exactly all the numbers, but their cap is a little out of whack. I mean, they're paying some dudes, and I can go and look at that for you, but they're paying some dudes.
Yeah, I just think that Philly's talent is not in line with what they hope it's going to be. I mean, James Harden has never won anything.
Tobias Harris, I want to say, is their number one paid player. Hang on. Tobias Harris is making $37.6 million. He is by far the highest paid player in Philly. Joel Embiid in Philly is only making 33.6. I say only. He's making 33.6 million. Tobias Harris is making 37.6. James Harden's making 33. PJ Tucker. And see, here's the thing though. They got better. PJ Tucker is a very good pickup at 10.4 million. DeAnthony Melton. I actually think Melton, somebody on the show the other, it might have been Scandura. Somebody said the other day that DeAnthony Melton's a really good pickup for him. He is. There's no doubt about that. Daniel House at $4.1 million is a really nice role player for them. And I would remind you that Tyrese Maxey's only making $2.7 million.
Yeah.
Like that is an Eastern Conference championship caliber team right there, right now.
Yeah.
You look at some other teams across this league, like I look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, their cap is flipping whack with the Rudy Gobert trade. You look at the Lakers, you look at some of these other teams, and there's just not, in my opinion, a real clear direction on where they're going.
Yeah.
That, to me, is one of the biggest questions. Tanner Plummer says, Mon, I've always wondered this. Why do you always wear black? Are you planning on going to a funeral soon?
Hey, guys.
Well, the funny thing is,
Hey, guys.
it's been my entire life. Like, it's not something that's new. A lot of people are like, oh, is it because you're a fat whale ass? No. Now, I'm not saying I'm not.
Is it because you're a fat whale ass?
That was probably some hyperbole. Having said that, I got on the scale this morning, lost another pound and a half.
That's HIPAA.
Life is good. By the way, real quick, somebody asked me about CBD topical, like
weed.
Mary Jane. My wife has been a CBD user for years now.
Right.
So I've been playing more basketball recently, and I don't have an ACL in my left knee. So she's been giving me this, I don't even know what you would call it, like not a lotion, but like this rub that you put on your knee. I went to bed last night. My knee hurt. Like I was playing basketball. Why is everything about spanking the bank for you, dude? Like, what is wrong with you?
Hey, you said rub, not me. I'm just over here listening.
Anyway, I got to tell you, my knee is a hundo P this morning. Like,
Yeah.
if you said to me you want to play basketball, yes, let's go. Like, my knee feels great. That CBD rub is unbelievable.
Great.
But I wear black just because it's easy. It goes with everything. Ken Williams says, Monty's sleeping on the couch again tonight. Yeah, I agree. Tanner says, whoa, wait, Monty's actually agreeing with someone who criticized him. It's a miracle. What do you mean? Like,
Yeah, what you mean, man?
You know. Let's see. Tony Crow, Nixon Bruises says, you're definitely not a black guy. LOL.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, I walked into that one.
Oh, man, dude.
Utah says he wears skinny jeans. No, I do not wear skinny jeans. I would love to wear skinny jeans. I do have one pair of skinny jeans, I guess. They don't fit because I'm not skinny. Tanner says, I'm a black guy. Quote unquote, Tim Monteminer, August 24th. Okay. My son loves black and blue.
Oh, man.
Chelsea Football Club. Jesse P says, Mitchell eventually will want to compete for a championship. Find the best deal now. Take it while he has value. I think his value is only going up.
I think there's risk in that. That's not a bad point.
Talking with Raphael podcast.
On PBS Radio.
Brought to you by Metamucil.
It vexes me.
But isn't Pat Bev the type of locker room hype we need? Well, if he would shut up and stop going at Kevin Durant, he probably would be. I would love.
What a loser!
Man, if they keep Don, I'd love to see them keep Pat Bev. But every contender wants Patrick Beverley.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Danny's got a deal done for Beverley, in my opinion. Scandura says if the Jazz get Obi, they should try and get John Collins and let them run together. That would be fun for a tanking season. I still maintain. Jake, you got him.
Got him, bro.
Got him.
Got him.
Let's see. Did I get him? Probably not. Fuck. No, I didn't. I did not because I wear a size 37 million.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Doggone it. No, I did not get my Jordans. Well, good on you. I'm happy for you, man. Hope your broke ass can't pay your rent. Anyway,
Thank you. Wow. Thank you.
I have lost so many draws recently. Like so many draws I've lost recently.
Yeah.
That one hurts because I'm an Air Jordan 3 guy.
Yeah.
Like that is, although the Air Jordan 5 lately, I've been on a run of Air Jordan 5s. I like it, you know. K Nern says black is a power color. Oh, do tell. Tony Crow, Knicks and Bruises says, where are all the views going to come from after the Knicks fans leave? I don't know. We were doing pretty well before the Knicks came. And you know, I mean, we love having you guys here. All right, I want to switch gears. Speaking of Knicks fans, I want to switch gears and get to this Pac-12 Arizona athletic director situation.
Right.
Arizona AD, the athletic director at the University of Arizona, Arizona, is Dave Heeke.
Nice name.
He said something that blew my mind when he said, quote, we're one of the greatest conferences there's ever been.
Now, before we play this, just keep in mind when you're watching this video, George Kliavkoff, the commissioner of the Pac-12 at Pac-12 Media Days, said something very similar to this before all of this conference expansion and Big Ten greatness and teams leaving, and before all that happened. George Kliavkoff ran this whole narrative out there about how the Pac-12 was the conference of champions, and we've got more championships in badminton and tennis than anybody else. right? So this narrative that you're about to watch is not new out of the Pac-12. And so to me, it's just a ridiculous thing to be running out there.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Here's Dave.
But I'm
Heeke.
very proud of the position that the University of Arizona is in. We are strong, we're solid. This institution will be in the right place. I'm also very confident in the Pac-12 with its current membership of 10 now. But again, we still have 2 years before those two other institutions leave. But we've got to be planning and orchestrating and be ready to pivot and do the right things. But I'm very confident in how the Pac-12 looks and how this conference looks going forward. We're an anchor in the West. We're one of the greatest conferences that there's ever been. We have so much tradition and history here connected to the Rose Bowl. There's a lot of value in that, and we're proud as Arizona to be part of that.
Congratulations, but that's bullshit.
Come on, guy.
Again, now listen, I understand that in Tucson it's hot. I understand that there is a lot of peyote being smoked.
Peyote.
In Tucson.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
I'm sorry, we're one of the greatest conferences there's ever been. Did you fracture your skull, sir? Like, what are you talking about? Have you spent too much time in the desert?
Cocaine and hookers, my friend.
The Pac-12 is an embarrassment. The Pac-12, let's not get this wrong. The Pac-12 is a blight on the history of college football. It is an embarrassment. It has been nothing short and nothing else but an abject failure.
Facts.
As a business entity, as a money-making entity, as a football entity, as a badminton championship entity, it's been nothing but a failure. The only thing that the Pac-12 has to hang its hat on is how much it is pumped into the real estate market in downtown San Francisco and how much of a terrible footprint it's put into the ozone layer by flying private jets all over the place with its commissioner. This conference is a joke. And Dave Heeke, the athletic director at Arizona, is an embarrassment. Yeah. Just saying this alone, the way they've handled their athletic department, the Sean Miller situation on its own, Arizona and every other athletic department in the Pac-12 should stop talking. The Pac-12 is dead on arrival. And Jake, I don't think anything that Dave Heeke said there helped this situation in the least bit.
No, I mean, it just continues a path of behavior that is embarrassing. I like, if you go back, and again, I say this literally every single day on the show, the beauty of YouTube is you can go back and you can watch what we said, a week ago, or I can't remember how long it's been now, but if you just go back and look at the George Kliavkoff video, where he basically talks about the fact that, the Pac-12 is this great thing, and, we're the best, and this arrogance, this air of arrogance in the Pac-12 is killing them. Literally, it's killing their conference. And I look at this and I say, okay, George said it then. Dave Heeke's saying it now. Who's next? Who's next? Who's going to come out and be like, oh yeah, we're the best conference there's ever been. Literally saying like we're the greatest conference in the land. It's truly incredible to me that you would have the wherewithal to be able to say that, because it's just not true. Like, I look at where the conference was before UCLA and USC left. You weren't in a good place. How long have we been talking about TV deals and you're not doing a good job? How long has it been? A decade?
I think Arizona is a brand, as a basketball property. I think it's a tremendous brand. But you bring almost nothing to the table when it comes to TV. I mean, almost nothing. Tucson isn't even a market.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you mean? We're one of the greatest conferences there's ever been?
How?
Like, and obviously in Tucson, the media, this was on what? K-Gun Television, KGUN TV.
Literally, it's, K-Gun.
They're not going to ask him a follow-up question. They certainly are not going to press him. This was embarrassing. And I want to play it again for you because I just think the awesomeness and the stupidity and the embarrassing, like, this is embarrassing now. I understand George Kliavkoff at Pac-12 Media Day, the commissioner of the Pac-12, going after the Big 12, like, Totally understand.
You got a job to do. You got a job to
get
do.
it.
Yeah.
This was unsolicited. This was a simple question. And to say this is an embarrassment.
But I'm very proud of the position that the University of Arizona is in. We are strong. We're solid. This institution will be in the right place. I'm also very confident in the Pac-12 with its current membership of 10 now. But again, we still have 2 years before those two other institutions leave. But we've got to be planning and orchestrating and be ready to pivot and do the right things. But I'm very confident in how the Pac-12 looks and how this conference looks going forward. We're an anchor in the West. We're one of the greatest conferences that there's ever been. We have so much tradition and history here connected to the Rose Bowl. There's a lot of value in that, and we're proud as Arizona to be part of that.
Part of the Rose Bowl? When's the last time Arizona went to the Rose Bowl, dick? Like, are you serious? When you wonder, is the Pac-12 going to make it? Is the Pac-12 dead? It's guys like Dave Heeke that absolutely just keep putting shovels of dirt on the grave.
You know.
Like, listen, I understand Larry Scott dug the grave, and I largely understand that USC and UCLA threw the entire conference in the bottom of the hole. It's idiots like this that just keep throwing dirt on it. This kind of rhetoric does nothing to help the conference. It isn't stick my chest out. Look at me, I lift. That's not what this is. What this is defiance. And what this is there's Arizona. You Arizona, nice. Like, that's what this is. This is the rest of college football laughing at you, Dave.
Yeah.
This is the rest of college football saying, well, you know, that's why Arizona State is the program in the state. Even with Herm burning that thing to the ground, Arizona State's a far better football school than Arizona is.
Not close.
Trying to tie yourself to the Rose Bowl, nobody thinks, man, great Rose Bowl champions, those Arizona Wildcats.
You know.
Like, who thinks that? Like, you haven't been relevant since Lute Olson. Oh, but look at all of our recruits in basketball, Jake. Like, can you believe we just need... Like, all the Arizona fans, Arizona literally renamed themselves Arizona, a players program.
Right.
Their hashtag at Arizona is a players program.
Bet you weren't expecting this one.
Like, and over the Sean Miller scandals and all that.
Yeah.
We just gotta get this recruiting class on the floor. Come on, bro. You guys didn't even get close.
Yeah, and I think...
Are you serious?
Yeah, Arizona has always been a dumpster fire of a in recent, maybe not always been, but definitely in recent memory has just been a dumpster fire of a program, both in football and basketball. And I get frustrated when people can't just say, hey, yeah, you know what? We're going through some things right now as a conference. We're going through some things, you know? And that's just what it is. We USC and UCLA decided that you know, the Big Ten would be a better fit for them. But I still think that there's value here in the Pac-10. You know, like, I wouldn't have an issue with that if Dave was just simply saying, hey, yeah, I know things are happening. I know that, you know, the Big Ten's doing its thing and there's a lot happening in the college football landscape, but I still think there's opportunity here in the Pac-10.
Jake,
I wouldn't have an issue with that.
Arizona has played in the Salad Bowl.
Wait, was that a joke? Like, because I know salad goes in a bowl.
January 1st, 1949. The Salad Bowl. They lost that game. You know how many wins they have in the Rose Bowl? Do you know how many losses they have in the Rose Bowl? Do you know how many times they've been to the Rose Bowl? Not once.
You know.
Dave, I don't know how to break this to you, sir. You've played in the Salad Bowl.
Hey, look here, man.
More than you've played in the literally, it was called the Salad Bowl. Montgomery Stadium, Phoenix, Arizona.
The problem is that by
when
saying
Miles
all this,
W. Castile was your head coach.
Dude, the problem is saying all this and you've got this track record to go with it, you just look bad. Nobody can take you at your word now because all you're doing is just obsessing on saying, yeah, we're in a great spot. And it's like, you know, it's like what politicians in recent memory have done. Oh, you don't have to worry about this, but
Dude.
you know, people are dying. You don't have to worry about this, but this like, it's just how it goes.
Don't look over here.
Yeah, like, hey, everything's sunshine and roses. We're fine, even though our conference is burning to the ground and Oregon's probably going to the Big Ten. And, like, what do you mean, Dave? What do you mean that you're one of the greatest conferences that's ever existed and you're a staple out west because of the Rose Bowl? I got news for you. The Rose Bowl has not put out a national champion in some time, bro. It hasn't.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the Iron Bowl, the Cotton Bowl? Like, have you heard of the big bowl games out east that put Alabama in the college football playoff? Have you heard of those? Oh, that's right. You haven't because you're in Tucson and you don't give a damn about what happens out east.
The Territorial Cup.
It's ridiculous, dude.
Arizona's irrelevant.
And by the way, the state on the whole is irrelevant. Like, let's be really clear on that.
But Jake, Donovan Mitchell is interested in the Lakers, and the Lakers are going to get Donovan Mitchell.
Come on.
Jerks. Keith Carl, I commented yesterday about every Pac-12 move being heavily scrutinized. Dave Heeke just made me hold his beer.
Like,
exactly
do you see
right.
but like I said, I want to be really clear. If Dave had just said, you know what? Yeah, they did leave our conference, and yeah, that wasn't a great look for us. At the same time, though, I do still think the conference has some opportunities here. And what would those be, Dave? And then go ahead and answer that question. Like, I would be fine with that because it is true. If you're a school like Arizona or the Washington States, the Oregon States, these schools that don't necessarily have the Big 10 as an option or the Big 12 as an option, you got to make the best of whatever it is going to be left of the pack. That's like your option. So on some level, I understand, hey, guys like Dave Heeke, you got to say what you got to say. You got to say something positive about your situation. But this is like way too far. You can't come out and say that the Pac is the best conference there's ever been. And, we're the conference of champions and we do all these great things when everyone knows that's just not true. The conference of champions is a slogan, not a reality. The conference of champions is a marketing piece, not something that actually happened. And George Klavkoff will tell you, well, we've got the most championships ever. Nobody cares about tennis, badminton, and checkers. Nobody cares. We're talking football here, man. That's what matters. And these guys just don't understand that somehow, some way.
Yep, totally agree. I don't get it.
It's truly incredible.
Kenai Johnson says, I want some of whatever he is chiefing on.
Do you see what? Yeah,
this
precisely.
is the best. This is the best conference, ...
Yeah, come on.
Mike Maple says the WAC-12 is on that Jim Jones kind of Kool-Aid. Gonna be
a hell of a drug.
Going to be in Orlando working the next month. Any places you recommend? Oh, the best restaurant in Orlando, it's Winter Park, is the Ravenous Pig. I'm telling you. The Ravenous Pig, Winter Park, Florida. Go get it. Thank me. Come back and comment. Thank me. Tanner Plummer says, I'm calling it now. Kyle Whittingham will be the next person to pump hot air into the Pac-12. No, he won't.
I don't think so. I think Witt's been honest. And Witt's a good example. Witt straight up said the other day, do we still have that graphic in there?
Oh, yeah.
Witt said the other day, you're about to see this graphic about how they got to win big games. When they're nationally televised, they got to win those games. That matters. That absolutely, positively matters. And I think that Kyle Whittingham has always been somebody, not just now, but in the past too, has always been somebody that's been a truth teller and just said like, hey, this is what it is. When we get to play Florida in week 1, we got to go and win that game. That's what we do.
It's important for the Pac-12 to make noise on the national scene whenever we get the opportunity like that. We have to make the most of it. If you want to gain respect, gain national attention, you got to come out and win some of those games. Hopefully we can go down there to Florida and play like we're capable of. Kyle Whittingham, the head coach of the Utah Utes, and that's my point. I think you have to go and get it. And I think this is why, you look at. Oh yeah, anyway, my point is, this is why when you look at what Alabama.
Roll Tide.
Alabama.
This is Coach Saban.
Got a $93 million extension that's going to make him the highest paid public football coach in the country. $11.3 million average annual value. Is there any question? Was there any doubt that that's the right move? Did anybody doubt on any level that the right move was to extend Coach Saban.
Do you know how much money he's made that institution, man? I mean, come on, dude.
Billions of dollars.
Come on, dude.
Like in branding and billions.
This is Coach Saban.
And billions of dollars. Nick Saban's made them. So, I mean, is there any question that Nick Saban's the greatest college football coach ever? There's none.
No.
Like, so when you hear these comments out of Dave Heeke, we're one of the greatest conferences there's ever been.
So you better check yourself.
Like, take a drink, Dave. Like
or maybe don't take a drink.
It's just embarrassing. The whole thing is embarrassing to me.
Yeah.
And again, this is why I say, speaking of Kyle Whittingham, you got to get to the Big 12. You've got to figure it out. And I think the Big 12 is just waiting, as they should be. I think they are just waiting to see how this all plays out.
Yeah.
I do. Kay Nurin says Utah's waiting for the Big Ten to come calling. That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen, with all due respect. Rhino Reselling says Sick'em Bears, Baylor Bears. Is the Big 12... Do you think the Big 12 is unified? Do you think the current members of the Big 12, excluding the 4 incoming schools, do you think the current members of the Big 12 are unified?
I think it depends on the proposition, so probably not. No, I think they are in some things, but not on other things. That's for sure.
Well, we were talking about San Diego State versus SMU, and
yeah,
I'm curious how many members of the Big 12 want Colorado and want Utah and want San Diego State. Like, if you're the Big 12, how do you say no to Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah? Right now, today, like, just let's shebang.
I don't know why you...
Like, how do you say no to that?
Yeah.
Right? You wouldn't say no to that.
No, you wouldn't at all. I think the only question mark there is Colorado.
Yeah, I agree. David, and Colorado, because they bailed on the Big 12 once already.
Yeah.
So, David Tervort says the word that comes to mind is denial. The man is literally fighting to keep a job. He will say anything, yeah? NY Jazz fan says Big Ten doesn't want Utah. They would embarrass all their conference teams. Utah to the Big 12, reignite the holy war. Amen to that.
Yeah.
Amen to that. Tanner Plummer says the salad bowl, LOL. Yes, exactly.
Hey,
Kurt
guys.
Meyer says the Rose Bowl just moved to the Big Ten in the pack. May never have another team in the run for the Roses. May not. May not. Very well could be. Fat Jesus says this show just went from good to great. More you Arizona bashing. Exactly right.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Gabe Levely says congrats on 7K subs, casuals, to the moon. Thank you. We
You're
appreciate
casual.
that. Kay Nurin says when the pack opens its mouth, LOL. Truth. Mid Florida Academy says best Oregon can do is teaming up with FSU, Miami, and Clemson. I don't know what the Big Ten is trying to do. Obviously, I don't know that anybody knows, but man, if they add Florida and Miami,
that'd be
if
crazy.
If they add Florida State and Miami,
yeah, I mean,
rather.
if you had representation in the state of Florida, is a big deal.
Florida, Texas, if you can get, because the Big Ten already owns the Northeast. I mean, you have a pipeline of linemen playing in the Big Ten.
Dude, the Big Ten has an opportunity to compete with the SEC. You can get there, but you got to keep adding. You have to keep getting, you got to get states like Florida. You got to get, and again, notice what I'm saying, states. You need to get states like Florida. I'm not talking about Florida, the program. I'm talking about the whole state.
I wonder how much better Clemson recruiting gets if they end up in the Big Ten.
Better.
I wonder if I'm the SEC, how am I sitting here not trying to get Florida State and Miami?
Yeah.
Clemson.
No, and I think if you're the SEC, it's really interesting because I actually do think if you added nobody, you're still the most, relevant conference. As long as Nick Saban's doing what he's doing at Alabama and you've got Georgia, I mean, you're still the best conference because you're the one playing for the national championship every single year. And until that changes, it doesn't matter what the Big Ten does. It just simply matters how long the SEC can stay on top, So that's why I say, I mean, think about it. The Big Ten is a Cam Rising injury away from not getting to the college football playoff, So I just think that there's a lot happening here, but I think the SEC is essentially bulletproof right now, or as bulletproof as you're going to get.
Well, and it's interesting that ESPN, I feel like, got a sweetheart deal on the SEC. They vastly, vastly underpaid. And I think that's great. I think it's why largely ESPN's in a position to try and get a 5-year deal with the Pac-12.
But that's
without
the Pac deal is going to be what, pennies on the dollar at this point. I mean, seriously, if this happens the way we think it's going to happen.
I mean, if you only have 8 teams left, if we really do see Oregon and Washington team up and go to the Big Ten, and you're 8 teams.
But think about what we've heard.
Whoa.
Like I think it could even be less than that because we've heard Stanford in the mix.
You're dead then. At that point, I mean, if you lose Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and Cal, there's no conference to be had. I mean, there's just not. You would have nothing in the state of California. I mean,
so then what? So I hadn't really thought about this. Then what happens? I mean, if you're like Arizona State, and the conference
you evaporate,
shuts down.
You go to the Big 12. The conference evaporates, and those. I mean, the only move would be those remaining schools, and this is why I say again. This is why I say again. The Big 12 doesn't have to be in a hurry here.
Yeah.
With the Oregon news that Oregon is so passionately chasing the Big 10.
Yeah.
It really put the Big 12 in the driver's seat.
It feels like the Big 12 is the cleanup crew coming back through. It feels like they're just going to sit here and wait, and they're going to see, okay, what's left after all this kind of plays out. Because if the Big 12 absorbs the rest of these Pac teams, you're in a great position because you're able to say, hey, we're not trying to compete with the Big 10 or the SEC. Like the Big 12 knows they're not that guy, pal. They know that. And so for them, I think you're in a perfect position. Hey, we know we're not a threat to you guys. We also know we have a great conference that generates revenue. We've got a good TV deal coming. Like things are happening. We've got brands out west, in the Midwest. Like we've got good coverage geographically speaking. So I just think, I think, man, as a basketball conference, as a football conference, you're in a good place. And furthermore, I'd say Arizona needs to get it going in basketball. Because if you got it going in basketball, at least then you could say, okay, yeah, we've got a powerhouse basketball program that would be a great fit in your conference. Don't quite have football yet, but at least you have basketball.
Yep, totally agree with that. Scandura says, interested to see this show in the NFL season. What? Bots? Fucking bots! Bots in the chat. I'm on it. Good catch, Jake. Good
Interesting to see this show in the football season. You're talking my language, my man.
Well, no, he says in the NFL season.
NFL season.
Yeah, I would say very clearly. We talk a lot of NFL on the show. We do a segment during the season. We do a segment called Football at 50 past the hour. Every hour, we give you the biggest headlines in football.
Mm-hmm.
Passionate Chicago Bears fans, so we don't need to talk much NFL this year.
Yeah.
Daniel Ricciardo fired by McLaren at the end of this season. Daniel Ricciardo fired by McLaren. He is out. Danny Rick's a free agent.
See ya.
At the end of the season. Huge F1 fans. I hate Max Verstappen. Feed the horse an apple.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, yes, we talk a lot of NFL on this show, Scandurus. So we'll see. Let's say Tanner Plummer says the Pac-10 is the weakest of the weak. I would agree with that. Mid-Florida Academy says Utah not beating Florida, but UCF did.
Oh, no, okay, Utah is going to beat Florida, dude.
So wait, you really think that Utah's not beating Florida? Florida somehow, is Florida more athletic? They're not. Do they have a better quarterback? They don't. Do they have a better defense? Deeper defense? More speed, more power? They don't. Is their offensive line better? Maybe. The only area that Florida probably is more athletic is wide receivers. And I was looking at this last night, and I can't even say that for sure. Because if Devon Vele develops for Utah the way that they're planning, and if they are, I was talking to some NIL folks last night who were like, yeah, Devon Vele is not doing anything because he's focused on being one of the best wide receivers in the country. If that's the case, I don't know that Utah loses a game. Because if Devon Vele is an 800-yard receiver this year, it's over.
For real.
It's over.
Yeah.
If Bryant Keithy, the fine tight end at Utah, is not your number one receiver, you're in good shape because he's a fine number one receiver. And if Cam's throwing 30 touchdowns, 10 of those go to Devon Vele, you're done. You're not beating Utah. You're not.
Yeah.
You're just not. Mid-Florida Academy says Orlando Winter Park Cheesecake Factory. That's not... God. When somebody asks for a restaurant recommendation, the best restaurant in Orlando, the best you bring is Cheesecake Factory?
Pack your shit. Let's go.
Come on.
Come on, guy. Josh Levern says Washington State and Oregon State aren't the weakest P5 schools, but they aren't the strongest. Anyway. No, I'm not going for that today, Coach. I'm not. Robert says, can Saban really coach until he's 80? 100.
This is Coach Saban.
80.
He's over there on the sideline with his walker. Still got the headset on. Still calling plays.
Still firing off F-bombs on the sideline.
Yeah.
Renee Roca says, Alabama, poor state, rich football
Roll
coach.
Tide.
He said,
Coach Saban.
Alabama. I don't hate that. Mid-Florida Academy says Florida rich state average football. A lot of athletes, though. A lot of athletes. K. Nuren says Utah will go to the Rose Bowl this year and go to the Big Ten West. I just don't know that the Big Ten has desire to add Utah.
Yeah.
What is the needed element there?
Y'all feel me?
Angel Rodriguez. I'm a New Yorker. Awesome show. MJ's the GOAT. Looking forward to Labor Day weekend. Going to be in Hawaii. We are going to do shows, by the way. A lot of people have been asking, hey, are you guys going to be on?
Just so we're clear, we are going to be doing shows. There are going to be some days where we can't do shows because we do have things we're doing early in the morning.
Like swimming in the ocean. Going to see volcanoes, things we're going to be doing. So 37 seconds of greatness.
By the way, it is a vacation for us, and we're still doing shows, so don't hate on us for missing a couple of shows in those 2 weeks. I think we have, in the 2-week period, I think we're doing 6 or 7 shows, so I think we missed 3 days because of events, I think. So, we are going to be doing shows, but just cut us some slack on that.
R. Crandall says, Kay, thinking with your heart, huh? I think so. Richard McDonald, my guy, says these spots are only trying to help Jake get a girlfriend, LOL.
I have a girlfriend, bro.
Is she hot?
Joke's on you, man.
Is your girlfriend hot?
Yes.
Football at 50s, but can we get whack at the ones?
Whack at the ones.
How about yesterday on my Twitter feed? There was a dude arguing for more coverage of Utah Tech. Like, hey, man.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to figure something out.
Listen, I want more coverage of Utah Tech, Dixie State.
Brother.
Like, come on. Name one famous professional wrestler dead.
Dead?
Yeah, one dead famous professional wrestler. The Macho Man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Randy Savage.
Come on. That's the best you can do?
Yeah.
That's the best you can do.
Guy as a kid, man.
You weren't?
No.
But you tried to sell wrestling figures I gave you on eBay.
Yeah, that's because I was forced.
It's really despicable.
No. Okay. Restock, MFers. Restock on the Air Jordan 3. Restock, adding it to the bag right now. Come on, let's go. Put it in my bag.
Add it to the bag.
Add it to your bag.
Damn, I can't even try to get it for you.
Jag loaf. Come on, you can do it.
Come on, please,
you guys.
man,
This
get
is
it.
huge.
This
is a moment. Come on, baby.
How about that?
Cash me outside.
Come on, let's
How
go.
about that?
Let's go.
Let's go. Order not processed. Error occurred.
No, just keep going. That happened to me this morning too, and I still got it. Just keep pushing ahead.
Trying.
Pushing ahead.
I am trying.
Yeah, pushing ahead.
Let's see.
Pushing ahead.
I got it. It looks like I got it.
Let's go!
Now they're gonna have to. Yes, they charged my card.
Yes!
Let's go!
Yes!
Let's go, baby!
Let's go!
700 subs or 7,000 subs.
7,000. Thank you.
And there it is. There's the order confirmation.
Let's go. Let me get this right. We've got matching Air Jordan 5 Concords. We've got matching Air Jordan 3 Concords, or Dark Iris as they call it. Whoa. I'm not really sure what that's about, and I'm not really sure.
What a day to be alive!
Anyway,
yeah. NY Jazz fan says I played football at Dixie State in 02, won the Rotary Bowl. What the F is Utah Tech? That's
the Rotary Bowl.
That's the Uncle Rico in me. You know Steve Cook, like the fitness guru?
Yeah.
He played football at Utah.
Hey, he played football.
Dixie State.
Yeah.
Let's see. Cam Harrison says Ultimate Warrior passed away. Do you know what that's a reference to? You guys, see?
God.
Listen, Carrie Von Erich, if you're up there and you can hear me. Should we play? Should we play the dead wrestler game?
No, because I don't know any of them, dude. I legit was not.
Cody Strickland, Bret Hart's not dead, bro. Bret Hart is not dead. Bret Hart is not dead, dude. His Owen Hart is dead. You know, he is. Keyshawn's in here trying to talk basketball. Ainge wanting 4 firsts is crazy. Could be. Brother. Cody Strickland says the Ultimate Warrior. Big Papa Pump. Bret Hart's not dead.
What the fuck are you, Ranger Rick?
Yeah, Owen Hart is dead. There are so many. I can think of, Mr. Perfect. I can think of Owen Hart. I can think of Andre the Giant, the Road Warriors.
The Netflix thing on Andre the Giant was good.
It was. Chris Candido. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. Come on.
How many of us still watch wrestling? Because I know it's a big deal.
Throw it up for Scott Hall, baby. That's right. Oh, man. Dude, Hall and Nash. God, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Freezy Breezy, that's right. The Macho Man, Randy Savage. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Snap into a Slim Jim. Anyway, Ultimate Warrior was a POS human. Was he really? I didn't know that. There are so many that I loved. But again, I don't disagree with that. Like Jimmy Snuka, Superfly Snuka, murdered his girlfriend allegedly. I used to watch WWF in the mornings, and I've told this story on the show.
Right.
And by the way, in the comments, go ahead and name your favorite dead wrestler.
Right.
F-bomb isn't unnecessary as laughing at your own jokes. Did I F-bomb today?
No, the drop that I played had an F-bomb in it, I think.
God, Jake.
Yeah, dude,
Man.
I just think
Segundo, Segundo, why don't you come host the show, replace Jake on the drop machine?
Yeah, I don't really know what to say. The execution has been pretty high, but,
We have pretty much all but stopped cursing on this show. So many people
Listen, we're in a strange time.
Hey, man. Richard McDonald says, just wanted to say anyone who missed UFC in Salt Lake last week and missed out big, get ready for Utah to be a regular UFC destination. Yeah. Hey, man.
Yeah, I think it performed well. No doubt about it.
Oh, and the Usman knockout was...
Man,
phenomenal.
I just can't believe that happened, bro.
You can never let up in that.
But this is what we were saying before the fight, last week. We were saying, I think that is the true greatness of the UFC, is that anybody can lose on any night, no matter how far the spread is on underdog.
Eddie Guerrero, yes. Yep. Dusty Rhodes. American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Cam Harrison says Mean Gene Okerlund. Yes. Giggity has a question. Who the F is this guy Segundo? Steve First says F-bombs make everything better.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Tanner Plummer says, no, you guys still swear a lot. No, I don't. Do I curse a lot?
I've always stood on my innocence.
What are you talking about? Fuck out of here with that. No, I'm kidding. Kidding. Oh, Latino Heat. Yes. Oh, my God. That brand in wrestling was huge. Macho Man was the greatest of all time. That's not subjective. What about Hot Rod Roddy Piper? Piper's Pit. Come on now. Is Vince Russo dead yet? Wow. Just kidding, Keyshawn said. Richard McDonald said I was there and people started leaving right before the head kick. The whole place went nuts. Yeah, I heard that. It was amazing. NY Jazz fan says, at Segundo, seriously, is that why you censored your middle name? Could be. The Giant was the GOAT. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Oh, Jake the Snake Roberts. He's not dead, though, is he? Jake the Snake's not dead. Oh, no, he said that. M. Alvarez said Jake the Snake is not dead.
Yeah.
Kane and Undertaker, not dead. LMAO, I've always stood on my innocence. Great job, Jake.
Now, we all know where that's from, right? We all know where that's from. That's from the Deshaun Watson press conference where he's sitting there, much like Dave Heeke, lying his ass off about what happened. We all remember that, right?
I've always stood on my innocence. Felt it about this situation.
I don't know why Deshaun Watson did that press conference. In all seriousness, I have no idea why he would have done that press conference.
Yeah, that was not smart.
All right, speaking of dead wrestlers, today is Kobe Bryant 8/24 Mamba Day.
Man,
probably a rough transition there. But anyway, having said that,
all gas.
Let me ask you when I say Kobe Bryant, just kind of because I know you revered him.
Yeah.
I had the great fortune of covering Kobe every day for part of my career.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that come to mind when I think of Kobe Bryant. So when I say Kobe Bryant, what comes to mind for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's it's sort of two versions for me. So as a kid, kid me, when I was growing up, I mean, Kobe just was the guy. I mean, Kobe, I remember Lakers Celtics Christmas Day vividly. That was watching him go to Boston. I think they were wearing the purple unis in Boston one time on Christmas Day, if memory serves. Could be wrong. But just watching him do what he does, we haven't seen a player play the game the way Kobe did, since he retired and obviously, passed away and everything. He just was so unique in how he went about it. And then, as we all grow up and we started to appreciate different things besides the pure athleticism, just not to be cliche, but the Mamba mentality stuff I think is just so relatable, in life and in everything. And I think it kind of is upsetting to have to talk about, the fact that Kobe at one point was one of these guys that was in some trouble, with the Eagle Colorado thing. And I truly feel like he worked his ass off to rectify that situation, not just with the settlement, but more like in his career and affecting people's lives. Cause I feel like so many times athletes, they do something wrong and then the time goes by and it stops becoming a big deal. But I feel like Kobe did so much more than that. It wasn't just that he played for 20 years or that he was, obviously one of the best to ever do it, but he helped people. He inspired people. And so to me, that's why that's what I remember about Kobe. And that's what I think about. I think about this concept of, hey, when you're great at something, when you, even with our show, not that our show is, anything amazing in the big picture of the world, but I think about the fact that we have had people tell us, hey man, you affect us, you help me get through this portion of my day or that or this or that. There's a certain responsibility in that. And that's what I think Kobe spoke on a lot is hey, when you're great at something, you have that responsibility to inspire and help people. And I think that for me right now today is what I think about.
Well, when I think about Kobe, I think about some of the things I saw him do. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt the greatest play that I've ever seen in person was his lob to Shaq in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals against Portland. I happened to be on the floor for that. I was a young reporter for the Laker radio network, and I think his demeanor as a player when he was in his prime, the aura that Kobe put off, just the vibe that came off of him. I think, the way that he handled the Eagle Colorado situation, as heinous as those allegations were, there was something inspiring about him flying back and forth when he easily could have settled that long before he did. The way that he just struck fear in his opponents, watching players be fearful of guarding him, the big shots, the desire, the want to kill on the basketball court, to be the guy with the ball in his hands with the game on the line. I talked about it earlier, watching Kobe shoot those air balls in the playoffs, those three-pointers as a rookie against Charlotte was something now that I look back on and I realize that's what made him great. The watching his interactions with Michael Jordan, watching his interactions with LeBron James, the deference, the respect that a lot of other, professionals had for him, the just constant ability to be awed by Kobe Bryant on things he did. Some of the reverse dunks that he had, when you work in the media and you work specifically for very closely with a team like the Lakers, you're very close to the floor on a regular basis. the reverse dunks that I saw him do, the passing. Kobe is not revered as a great passer. He was a great passer. Some of the passes he made to Glenn Rice when Glenn Rice was a Laker, wide open on the wing, like just watching him play the game. That's what was remarkable. The motivational stuff, the helicopter crash, like that stuff is far less meaningful to me than what I saw him do on the floor and the way I saw his impact up close and personal on people.
Yeah.
That's what I remember Kobe for.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting in this conversation is, in much like many things in life, age of the person you're talking to is hugely important. The difference is I never had the opportunity. Like, I never got to see Kobe play in person. Like, you understand that. I never saw him in person. I never got to feel the energy. I never got to see what it was actually like. And so my experience with Kobe was always just big game Kobe. Obviously in the media availabilities he's done, he did a lot of stuff at SC where he would go and talk to and do interviews and do like town hall style events. And there was just a lot that he did. And so I always love hearing the contrast and experience, because that's what I think defines true greatness. If you really get down to it, the ability to affect people over decades, multiple generations you've affected in different ways, that to me is the ultimate sign.
Giggity said Kobe was great, but the beef he had with Shaq and Shaq's rap always comes to mind and makes me laugh. Yeah.
Yeah, the relationship and what Shaq and how that all went down, totally. I think it's definitely on the forefront.
Yep, I agree. Big Bucket Talk says every superstar athlete has some kind of controversy. They do. Ken Williams says, I can't stand Kobe, but I have personal reasons why great basketball players, that's all I want to get into. Okay, cool. You've cleaned up your language, but you still swear. You need a swear jar, Kate Nurin says. I probably do.
Yeah.
M. Alvarez says, Kobe was so awesome that someone put up a billboard for like 6 months in Lakeland, Florida. Yeah. Riley O'Brien says, boom, well said, Jake. Dead Wrestlers. Arlington Bear says, George the Animal Steel. Yes. Keyshawn says he definitely inspired young players, Jason Tatum, Julius Randle, Devin Booker, to elevate the game. Yeah, I agree. Kanai Johnson says it's so sad that we will never know how great Gigi would have been for women's basketball.
Agreed.
Absolutely right, Kanai.
Yeah.
Kurt Meyer, Shaq is the best businessman coming out of the NBA. I hope his boy makes a team. Yeah, he's trying. He's going to be in the G League for sure. San Diego State Aztecs 21 says, the, quote, game changed when I became a subscriber. Elbow cough. Well, you saved the channel. Who are we kidding? NY Jazz Fan says Kobe changed his life, Colorado incident, and did right things consistently to earn respect, the platform he had. From there, he said and did the right things, making him largely influential. Lost a great in KB. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, dude, and that's what I mean. And this is what we said when the Deshaun thing happened. It's not... it is, but it's not. It's not necessarily what you did or the issue that you find yourself in. Like Fernando Tatis and the steroid thing. The issue isn't that you got popped for steroids. The issue is how you've reacted to it. That presser in the dugout yesterday was embarrassing. The fact that you didn't have a well-thought-out process. I look at these athletes in different situations, and Kobe just handled it the right way. Just the way he went about it garnered him that respect, as that commenter was saying, and that's what I think separates him. And I do hope that the maybe this is selfish, but I hope the Vanessa Bryant trial works itself out and they get through all that, and then I hope that Nike is able to continue making Kobe's shoes, man, because I just think that it would be, to me, it's wrong to stop making the shoe. In fact, I would say it furthers the legacy. It furthers, who he was. And you have to understand, too, as new generations are born and as more young people come into the fold, the impact that these guys have lessens because they weren't around when he was dunking. I wasn't there for the push-off with Jordan. I wasn't there for, all these iconic moments in Kobe and Jordan's career.
That's right.
So for me, I know that Jordan, obviously, I can go back. I've done all my homework, YouTubed and read. I know Jordan was the best to ever do it. but I personally got to experience Kobe. And so my kids or whatever, like 2 generations behind me, aren't going to have ever watched Kobe Bryant shoot a basketball.
That's insane.
Do you see what I'm saying, how it loses its impact? So selling shoes and like talking about him and like continuing it, I think really matters.
Yeah, I think having seen him do it, that matters.
Yeah.
Having felt the impact.
Yeah.
That matters. I think when you're looking at, I just think Kobe has had an incredible impact that has nothing to do with his game.
Yeah.
And I know that, I agree with the commenter said a lot of guys get in trouble. It's how you react to it. It's how you react to it. Kanai Johnson said, I like Kobe and Raja Bell's matchups. Oh, those were epic.
Epic.
Free Breezy says, I only saw old Kobe. NY Jazz fan says, I regret never seeing MJ play in person. Man, I took Michael Jordan for granted, which is why now, like when we talk about Donovan Mitchell, I always say don't take Donovan Mitchell for granted. I mean, don't take the guys that are special now for granted.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph. Like, having seen Michael Jordan is one of the great pleasures of my life. Like, I mean, having stood next to him, like one of the first guys I was truly scared of was Michael Jordan standing in a locker room. Michael Jordan was amazing.
Yeah.
He was amazing. Let's see. Big Bucket Talk says agents also play a role in how athletes react. Yeah, for sure. No doubt. Richard McDonald says, I feel like Jake's production skills have come a long way since y'all started. Dig the Chiron at the bottom. The Chiron? That's all. Yeah. The Chiron, he means.
My idea, his execution. What? This platform that we went to is my idea. I found it. This setup is my brainchild, bro.
So we are hiring a new co-host for the show.
Hey guys.
Taking applications now.
You're casual.
Your idea.
What?
Ken Williams says it depends if you know the person in Eagle Mountain, but everyone deserves grace. Well, I mean,
look, man,
there's nobody that's writing off what happened in Eagle, Colorado. Nobody's writing that off. Nobody's saying, I think I don't think anybody's writing that off. Big Bucket Talk says Kobe's shoes have been number 1 basketball shoe since before his death. Yes, I would agree. Freezy Breezy says Alex Caruso. Not as good as Kobe.
Right.
Tanner says, I think that Jordan is the GOAT, but I'm curious, Monty Jake, why do you think that Jordan is the GOAT? Because he's the greatest of all time. It's the GOAT. That's why. Kanai Johnson says, man, Jake missed out on some great basketball. Kobe era was great. Shift from Jordan. It was. I agree with that. Oh boy, Mont's ego and Jake's ego is about to clash.
Hey guys.
Jacob Yates, as a Jazz fan, I've hated Kobe since I was 6 when he was drafted. Bro was a legend. Exactly.
Yes.
Part of hating him is,
and just the savagery of, hey, Kobe's getting the ball. He's going to take you to the elbow, and he's going to do a fade, and he's going to win the game.
He took Michael Jordan's fadeaway to another level. Michael Jordan in the last years of his career really relied on his fadeaway jump shot. So did Kobe. And it's unfortunate that the volume of basketball they played, took their game from them late in their careers.
Yeah.
It's what makes LeBron spectacular, but yeah, Ken Williams says, I've seen all the Jazz Bulls games live. Yeah, they were spectacular. Gabe Ledley, Monty 100% nailed it. I took seeing MJ play for granted, which is why I will watch Tom Brady games when I can. Yes, Gabe. Exactly right. Freezy says, I also think I am is the GOAT, but MJ is the GOAT. But Kobe, to me, was just a little more athletic. Jordan, I think he's just as good as MJ. I think they're close. I see, and this has always been really controversial on the show every time we talk about it, so I'm not trying to be that guy, but Kobe and Jordan are on a level of their own. I think LeBron's below them. I really do. Let's see. Riley O'Brien says, I suspect that Greg Ostertag can likely still feel that slap to his neck provided by one Shaquille Rashawn O'Neal. Wow. Big Buckets says, if Achilles never happened, Kobe would still be hooping today. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's really sad,
probably.
Man.
I mean,
it is. I don't know how many people have really gone in depth on the helicopter thing and why that happened and how that happened and what kind of went down with that. But I would encourage you to read about that and read about, what happened, because it really was a one-off thing that very rarely happens. And I think that it's just a shame, man. It's a really sad thing. I get somber talking about it because it's just like, it's just such a travesty of talent. There's never going to be another Kobe, and we got, what did we get, 43 years of him on this planet? I think he was 43 when he died, I think. So, I mean, it's just terrible, bro. It's absolutely terrible. Like, enjoy Tiger Woods while you can, because he's pretty much done.
Well, and choosing waffles over pancakes.
So, I'm incredibly hungry right now.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Why?
What do you mean why? It's been 5 hours I've been awake.
Okay.
So I'm hungry.
All right. You could eat anything for breakfast right now.
Probably would be an omelet and a waffle. I love waffles or pancakes.
See, and this is what's wrong with you.
Okay,
and
here we go.
This is why we need a DNA test, because I don't know who you are anymore, and it really concerns me that
Donnie,
you would make
please.
a foolish statement like, "Oh, waffles are better than pancakes." Like, I mean, I worry about your mental
I don't think I said
health.
waffles are better. I said I enjoy waffles.
In the pre-show meeting, you
the
100%
pre-show
said,
meeting.
you 100% said, waffles are better than pancakes. Everybody knows that. I mean, you put some whipped cream and some syrup, and
no, I don't.
I mean,
do whipped
waffles.
cream.
Waffles are better. They're just. I mean, they're. The shape of the waffle is more symmetrical than the pancake.
Well, if you ask Mrs. Monty, it's all about the surface area.
I mean, rectally speaking, that waffle.
Well, we're gonna get to rectal in a minute.
That waffle brings more. I mean, the waffle's better. It's got the little concave holes in it where you can pack your shit and stuff.
There's nothing better than a good buttermilk pancake. I will agree with you.
Stand your ground.
Nah, I'm good.
Pancakes are far better than waffles. And I understand. Today is National Waffle Day.
Yeah.
But you don't come in here with that blasphemy. Oh, LeBron's better than Kobe. No, he's not. Well, waffles are better than pancakes. No, they're not. They're not.
You and your mom are hillbillies.
And it's people like you.
I feel like you're
that
judging
ruin
me right
breakfast
now,
in this country.
And it really is hurtful.
Well,
and, my feelings are, as a snowflake, my feelings are, hurt.
I mean, you can go to McDonald's and you can get that pancake sandwich. It's called a McGriddle.
Right.
But where are you going to get a waffle? Who cares? Pancakes are far better than waffles.
Yeah.
And I want the acknowledgement.
I just said they were.
Say it again.
Yeah, they're better than waffles.
You're a liar.
I'm not a liar.
You are a liar. I don't think you believe that. I think you were only worried about the repercussions from our fine fan base. I think you were only worried that
Schemers trying to control their little worlds.
I think you'll say whatever you need to say to get elected.
Yeah.
And I think right now,
Yeah, I mean you're not wrong. Pancakes are better than waffles.
What makes a good breakfast? Now, as a large human with, a pretty significant history of ingesting large portions of food.
Fire and fury.
Why would you play that? Why would you play that? I don't understand it.
I need to pipe in here because I walked in on something.
Is need the word that I would use?
It's a need. It's a need.
Just
I'm
take it nice and
outraged.
easy, okay? Just
I am
relax.
outraged. She said I'm outraged.
I walked into hearing that pancakes were better than waffles. Here is where you are wrong, sir.
Uh-oh.
In a sandwich.
What the
The
fine?
McGriddle should be waffle sandwich. It should be 2 small waffles holding your egg and sausage. A waffle and chicken sandwich.
But we're not talking. No.
The pancake is falling apart.
No, you can't do this.
You said
can't
McGriddle.
bring
I
up-
heard you say
You
it.
cannot bring up chicken and waffles in a discussion about if pancakes are better than waffles.
A
Like,
no
it just-
good,
you can.
rotten,
You don't-
disgusting
I see,
scoundrel.
like, I mean, you just can't do
my
that.
friend.
How are you like chicken and waffles is totally different than pancakes. Now, are chicken and waffles better than pancakes? Yes.
When you ask them that question, you may get a very
If you're having a
unusual
breakfast
answer.
sandwich,
You know.
you can't have pancakes for the bun.
But nobody eats waffles as a breakfast sandwich. No, but not okay. I shouldn't say that.
They should be.
I shouldn't say that. Russians murdering people, like, assassins from Russian hit squad, they use waffles to make like PB&J sandwiches. I mean, there's,
right.
Like the worst of the worst kind of humans. You know, anybody that Chicago White Sox fans, they make sandwiches out of waffles. Okay.
Don't want to play.
But those of us that are, those of us that care about Earth or humans, we don't do that. We eat chicken and waffles together. Yosemites make waffle sandwich. Like, what kind of bread would you like? A waffle?
Yeah, I would like 2 small waffles for my breakfast
can
sandwich.
I get a Reuben sandwich on waffles?
I'd like to know what people in the comments are saying, because I can tell you, superior crispy waffle.
Obviously not.
For your sandwich,
bro.
No.
Don't act like if you didn't have 2 Eggo waffles and an egg in between it with a piece of sausage, you wouldn't be happy having that as a breakfast sandwich.
I didn't, but see, I as a man, I understand that that's not a breakfast sandwich.
That is a breakfast sandwich.
As a connoisseur of cellulite, I understand that is just eggs and waffles with sausage on a plate, and we go Mac. Like, I understand that.
Right.
I'm not calling that a sandwich. Like, how does that compare? Like, what's another sandwich? A hot dog. How does that compare to a hot dog, which is also a sandwich? Like, I don't see how that compares to chicken and waffles. Motherfucker, just up here making a point. Like, we got to stand for American values on this here program.
All right.
My name is Mrs. Monty, and I am running on the platform of waffles can be made into a sandwich.
This is corny stuff.
Provo Cougar fan. Waffles are far, far better than flat pancakes.
Boom shakalaka.
Tanner Plummer. Hey, guys, I truly believe that the Jazz are cursed. I'm talking about waffles,
There's
Tanner.
no goat involved.
Tanner also says, I'm with Jake. Waffles are better than pancakes.
And I ain't giving up no damn Rice Krispie treats.
Team waffles.
Right.
Ken Williams says, eggs and sausage toast. Thank you. Sourdough toast with eggs.
Dude.
And some sausage.
But do you have veg in your egg? Little pepper? Little mushroom?
No.
Yeah.
Little onion?
Yeah. Little bell pepper?
No. No.
Yeah.
Onions and mushrooms go with eggs. Bell peppers go in the garbage. Everybody
now
knows
you're
that.
just being ridiculous.
Freezy Breezy says McDonald's sausage McMuffin. My guy.
Yeah.
My guy.
Yeah.
Fat Jesus says when have you had chicken and pancakes? Waffles rule. Suck it. Wow. Okay.
Whoop.
Ken Williams says Jake is a male Hillary Clinton. LOL. So you destroy your emails then.
I plead the fifth.
Jake?
I plead the fifth.
McDonald's sausage McMuffin with strawberry jelly and cheese and egg.
Whoa.
I've actually been...
Whoa. You're
What?
putting jelly on a savory
no,
sandwich.
he misspoke. It's not jelly. It's jam.
You are fake.
Ooh.
Like preservative. I'm not fake, actually. I've actually been macking jelly lately.
Yeah.
Raspberry jelly. Whew.
Yeah.
And my jazz fan says no pancakes and no waffles. Don't need the carbs and sugar from syrup. Casuals get cut.
Okay,
Wow.
we're not talking every
What?
day.
See, why you got to bring reality back in? Come on.
Wow.
Dude.
You're a casual.
Wow.
Can we not just channel our inner fat ass for 5 minutes?
Well,
Jesus.
I clearly am channeling my outer fat ass.
I heard you say that you are down 1.5 pounds. I weighed in this morning. I am also down 1.5 pounds.
Nobody cares.
Jesus, dude.
Hater.
Yeah, we've been working hard. Like, we've really been trying to lose weight and slimming down, and it's good. All right, more comments on waffles, because this is what we do. Giggity says, I've never heard of blue pancakes. Can't say that about waffles. Oh, it's a blue waffle.
I feel triggered, and yes, you can have blueberry pancakes. And
he didn't say blueberry. He said blue pancake.
I'm just saying blueberry pancakes or blueberry waffles are delicious.
Richard McDonald says waffles are better than pancakes.
Dun, 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 dun.
John Satterthwaite. Bro. Satter. Satterth.
Who the fuck are you?
Wait. Waffles. What about French toast, my man?
You can't put that on a sandwich. It's going to fall apart.
Okay, but listen.
Same problem as a pancake. I'm just saying.
I want better fucking execution.
Yeah, it's all these people who come onto the show and like try to tell me how to live my life.
Right.
I love French toast.
I do love French toast.
I love French toast. It is
cinnamon bread French toast. Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Are all your chairs vibrating or is it just mine? Anyway, the point is that I would like to point out that French toast is vastly underrated. It's orgasmic. There's no doubt about that. French toast is amazing. Big Bucket Talks says pancakes always better, aka the OG classic.
Yeah, look, I'm a sucker for a good, tall stack of buttermilk pancakes. I remember there used to be waffles. In Long Beach?
I love
where
waffles.
We went to Shore House.
I just love waffles.
I'm trying to have a moment here with you, and you're mocking me.
Oh, waffles.
Shore House
Come
is
on,
amazing.
Waffles shaped like Kevin Durant. Oh, my God. Slurp
I'm
it
going
up.
to say this again.
Shore House Cafe in Long Beach was amazing. Ken Williams says SmackDown coming from Mrs. Monty. Happy wife, happy life.
I don't have to smack down. I just speak the truth.
It's not a down. It's more of an off. Anyway, Tanner Plummer says, well, Ken Williams, I'll take Jake, a.k.a. male Hillary Clinton, over the Tangerine Twitter machine in a heartbeat. Wow.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Tom Basilius, waffles are way better than pancakes. Stop it.
It is
you guys,
what it is.
I'm feeling triggered right now, and I'm going to have to punch Jake in the face.
Fire and fury.
I mean, it's just, you can't. Almighty Finesse says chopped cheese, bacon, egg, and cheese.
Oh, yes, dude.
Yes.
Please.
Yes. San Diego State Aztecs 21 says that 12 seconds is about to decrease to 0 after that nobody cares comment. It's not funny. Thank you. Talking with Raphael podcast. Damn it, I forgot about French toast. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
New York Jazz fan. The French can toast and the French can fry. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Ken Williams says, great show. Love it. Got to go to work. Peace out, y'all.
See you, bro.
Peace out.
See you, dude.
Renee Roca, waffles and hot wings, please. Please.
When's the last time you had fried chicken? I mean, it has to have been 5 years at least, right?
Yeah, like actual bucket of chicken.
Bucket of chicken.
Not like Super Chicks.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like fried chicken.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been forever.
Long time, right?
10,
fried
15
chicken
years.
and waffles. That sounds so good right now.
10, 15
Everything
years.
sounds good right now, Jake.
Yeah, I know. I'm hungry as hell.
By the way, Mrs. Monty doesn't know the Daniel Ricciardo tragedy.
Yeah,
I
your
heard
boy,
you say that.
your boy got
What?
fired. Yeah, he's average. He sucks.
Danny Rick got fired.
But you know what? He'll go somewhere else. He's going to be just as fun.
Yeah, in 14th place.
Danny Rick is not there because he is the best driver. He is the best fun driver. He brings personality, and I think people love it. Fans love it. Fans love that he's fun, that he's goofy or awkward. They love his goofy smile. Everybody has fun with him.
No.
Put him down to Alfa Romeo or put him down to
Williams.
He'll still drive
Aston.
because he brings fans.
Yeah, he still won't make it out of the second round of qualifying. You're exactly right.
You know?
Eric C. wants to know, how's that Hinge girlfriend, Jake?
Great. We're good. Just chugging along.
You guys getting engaged yet?
No.
So you guys going to have kids yet?
No.
Ever?
I don't know.
See, this is
Let
an
him
interesting...
get to Hawaii. Jesus.
Oh, you guys are going to make babies in Hawaii?
Potentially.
No,
What? You said... I'm trying to follow along. You said it. I said you guys going to have kids? You're like, Jesus, let them get to Hawaii. Okay, so what, are we planting the garden in Hawaii?
They haven't been, doing the deed here?
I'm sure there's been insertion. I mean, I don't doubt that.
Just got to pipe in,
But...
See, he said pipe in.
Anyways,
So
she has to survive like a total of 7 full days with 45 family and friends.
And just kind of
If she
scruff
can
it
live
and play
through
with it when
that,
it's wet.
She's going to be good. In a house with 10 total people.
Yeah,
There's
many
4
years.
of us. There is my niece and her boyfriend, and then my cousins and their 2 kids. If she can make it, we good.
So let
Yeah.
me ask you this. So she doesn't want kids.
Right.
Do you want kids?
One.
But she won't have one.
What?
That's not true.
That's not true.
That's not true.
No.
So when did this change?
It's an ongoing conversation. I don't have time for a kid right now or probably any time in the next couple of years. So it's just not a conversation at this point.
Okay.
It's not a conversation, man. Like we're again,
how long until you think you guys are married? Like in 5 years, do you think you and this girl will be married?
Not everybody has to get married, dude. Not everybody has to get married.
Wow.
I'm just saying. Like,
I don't know.
Jake, don't feel pressured.
I will chain you to
She's
a
a good
fire.
person.
So you're saying you're not getting married anytime soon?
I don't know. We got to move in still. We got things to do.
So
highly recommend the move in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you should move in before you get married. So you
Yeah.
guys should move in when you get back from Hawaii.
No.
No.
At the end of the lease. At the end of my lease next
He still
year.
has to pay his lease.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I still got to pay my lease down.
Listen.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to nurture, your success.
Right.
Y'all about to fuck this up.
I'm not saying that.
Right.
I'm just telling you, if you're in a relationship with this Hinge girlfriend, and you are.
Don't call her the Hinge girlfriend.
Did you meet on Hinge?
Yes, we did. But
is she your girlfriend?
That's not some terrible, it's not some terrible connotation.
No.
She's my girlfriend. A ton of people meet on apps.
How many hours a week do you think you spend together?
I don't know. Probably 10 to 12 hours a week.
Really? You think you spend that much time together?
Yeah.
Okay. Awake, like waking hours.
Yeah, I don't understand what
Not
you're
a
getting
lot.
at here.
I
don't understand what you're getting at here.
I'm asking probative questions.
Okay, she lives on the east side of the valley. I live on the south, she lives on the east side. We live on the west side. She lives about 30 minutes away on a weekday. It's not easy, and she's also busy at work. She has a big-time job that she does.
I'm simply asking. I think you probably spend 6-8 hours a week together.
Yeah,
awake.
that's what we are able to do right now. That's what our situation dictates.
I'm not there's no motive behind the questions.
Well, I'm trying to understand what you're getting to.
You always have a motive.
No, I don't. I am just being probative and This is the discovery portion of the trial.
Strategy, sir.
Right.
And as we head for the questioning and this prosecution of Jake's Hinge girlfriend, well, the tone of the questions will change.
Dingers.
Anyways.
Let's see. Kurt Meyer says, Jake, does your girlfriend watch this show?
From time to time.
Oh, really? Giggity says, Jake, does she at least want a dog?
She has a dog. A great dog.
She has a
And
dog.
Cats.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wow, comment dump. Let's see. Monty, Kurt Meyer says, Monty, what would you do with grandchildren?
Oh my gosh, I would have so much fun with grandkids.
Yeah,
I would have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Renee Roca.
I don't own them. I don't have to keep them.
Yeah, you can send them home. Renee Roca says, I don't want kids. Things single people say all the time.
Did you see the most recent study that says it now takes $300,000 to raise a kid now? Did you see that?
Is that true?
Oh,
yeah.
Sure,
in today's world, yeah.
I did not see that.
Yeah.
$300,000.
Yeah.
That's probably too much. That's way too much. Tanner Plummer. Hey guys, Renee, when I was on my 2-year mission, I kind of didn't want kids, but when I got home, my opinion changed.
That's what I mean. It's an ongoing thing.
It is. I don't think it's just stuck.
Yeah, I think it's. I am adamant that I just don't have time right now. I just don't, dude. I don't.
Richard McDonald, does this lady watch the show, Jake? Question mark, quote unquote, insertion.
She does not watch it regularly, no.
Thank
not
God.
Regularly, yeah.
She's a nice gal. I mean, I don't.
She can take it. Well,
God damn it. I mean, how do you make that mistake?
She can handle the ridiculousness and the ribbing.
Wow, bro.
She can take it all right.
Yeah, take it. See ya.
Come on.
That's it. I'm out.
Come on.
I'm screwed.
Oh, your parents are amazing,
Bro.
Jake. Greg Hawkins, good morning to you, sir. 8 hours a week is a good amount of time. I wish I only had to deal with my woman for 8 hours a week. Wow. Holy cow. Eric C. says, yeah, got a girlfriend and a dog, but watching my brother and sister getting married and popping kids out every other year gets depressing.
Telling you, it's tough times right now, bro.
That is great.
I'm telling you guys.
Gabe Ledley says, just a heads up, Jake, you're never going to have enough time or money for kids. That's not how any of this works.
100%.
Nope.
100%.
Nope.
You just do it. If you end up having them, you just figure that shit out and it works.
Yeah, when you're in the middle of that 13 seconds of awesomeness, you're not thinking about, oh, man, this is going to be $300,000. Let's go.
Dude, I am not.
Wow.
No, dude.
Wow.
Dude, no. Nope. Hey, what do you know? We talk about piping in and we get bots in the
Mrs.
chat.
Monty talks about how she can take it, and we get bots in the chat.
It's just so wrong. It's so wrong.
I want to remind you before we rat out of this piece that we are giving away a trip for two to see BYU and Notre Dame, and a lot of you have gone to Barbecue Pit Stop and you've bought spices and rubs and a Traeger, and really appreciate that. We need you guys to move to our sponsors. We're rolling out 2 new sponsors next week that I'm really excited to talk about on the show. I'm sorry, are we keeping you up over there?
Dude, it's called needing to eat.
Yeah, seriously, we too. But I want to thank Barbecue Pit Stop, who's been a fantastic sponsor of the show. Cannot wait for September 17th in Lehigh at the Barbecue Pit Stop. We're going to have our BYU Oregon watch party. We're going to have wings. We're going to have pizza. And we're going to announce the winner of the trip to see BYU and Notre Dame at the Shamrock Series in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. We're giving you 2 nights at the Palms Casino Resort and Hotel. We are giving you 2 tickets to the game and a $250 gas card to get you there. Go to bbqpitstop.com, BBQ Pitstop, 1T, P-I-T-S-T-O-P, barbecuepitstop.com.
Yeah.
You guys are both yawning
Yeah,
away.
dude, I don't think you understand. It's 5 hours.
Yeah, I feel good. You can also find Barbecue Pit Stop in Layton, Lehigh, Logan, St. George, and Murray. There's a box on the counter. Fill it, the slip, drop it in the box, and then come hang out with us. Tanner Plummer says he is not going to be there.
Bro.
Tanner's
Dude.
not coming there.
Hey, guys.
He won't.
Bro.
Yeah. It's hurtful.
Dude,
We're gonna miss
are you
you.
going to have a representative there then? Or?
No, like it's really hurtful.
Did
The
you
wife
qualify
with the
for the
baby?
entry?
Like,
You know.
Did you enter the contest?
He did, I'm sure. But Tanner, it's just hurtful. You won't. I mean, Greg Hawkins is going to be there. Gabe Ledley's flying in from Phoenix to be there. But, hey, you don't feel bad about that, Tanner. I'm just guilt tripping Tanner.
How's the Xbox?
Something. Wow. He won that fair and square.
Yeah, dude. He did.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Tanner, we're just.
Nah, we'll miss
breaking
you.
balls.
No, for real, though.
We will miss you.
Have
Tanner.
you enjoyed the Xbox? It's a nice Xbox, dude.
It is.
Like, I'd buy that Xbox.
It is. You should
Yeah.
bring it to Barbecue Pit Stop on
Yeah.
September 17th. As we're going to watch BYU and Oregon that day. It's going to be a great party. We'll have more details on times and all that kind of good stuff, but it's going to be a great time. Thanks to Barbecue Pit Stop. When you go in there, I mean, obviously you get all the best smoker equipment. They have grills, green eggs, Yoders, Traegers. I'm a Traeger Iron 885 guy. It is a fantastic unit.
Kinder seasoning.
Their Kinder Italian chop seasoning is wonderful. Their Kinder taco seasoning.
Bomb.
My God. The Kinder
Bomb.com.
taco seasoning is unbelievable. You can get all of that, everything you need for a barbecue or a smoker. Check them out online, bbqpitstop.com. We will see you there on September 17th. And, of course, it's all brought to you by our guy, Devery Davis at Academy Mortgage. And, again, I know there's a lot of people that tweet with me about mortgage. There's never been a better time to buy a house. I'm telling you, in the last 12 months, I know that things have been crazy, but the price of houses is coming down. Mortgage rates are steady, right around 5%. The refi percentages are fantastic. You can get under 5% on a refi. But the number one question people ask me all the time is, hey, man, I can't afford the down payment. Is it true you can buy a house without a down payment? Yes, it's absolutely true. You can get the home you need and want right now if you call Devery Davis at 801-543-9666. He's written 3 mortgages for me. He is my mortgage guy. I trust Devery. You're not just a number with Devery Davis. You are a personal interest. You talk to Devery. You deal with Devery. You're not talking to a bunch of dudes sitting in an office building, trying to make money off of you. You're talking to Devery Davis, who wants to put you in the best position because he wants a relationship with you for life. That's why you go to Devery Davis at Academy Mortgage. 801-543-9666. NMLS number 278545. Call Devery. Say, hey, man, I heard about you on the Monty Show. Just want to ask you, hey, is it true I can get a mortgage without a down payment? See what he says. You'll be amazed. Devery Davis Academy Mortgage, equal housing lenders. 7,000 subscribers today. Amazing. Thank you so much for being here. We'll be back tomorrow morning, probably talking about more Laker rumors with Donovan Mitchell. I don't know. We'll find something. For Mrs. Monty, for Jake, my name is Monty. We appreciate you. Until tomorrow, say pancakes are better than waffles, Mrs. Monty.
Waffles are better than pancakes.
No, they're not.
Okay, bye.